Another thing about Black Friday.
No. We're not doing this. Welcome to the Street Talk segment, everybody. What went on in Coronation Street this week? Plenty of drama, plenty of controversial scenes, plenty of experimental storytelling, which people have certainly got strong opinions of online, and so have we. So we'll be sharing our thoughts about that later on. Gemma, would you like to kick us off with some lovely clickbait as per tradition?
Yes.
This week you're trusting me on some.
Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan, very much for sending this.
From the Daily Mail, Coronation Street fans jeer in "What in the world are we supposed to believe this?" Oh, in what world are we supposed to believe this? As the major character's real age is finally revealed.
Really? Has somebody had their real age? What the actor's age or the character's age?
The character's age. Somebody did say how old they were this week.
Did they?
Yeah.
This isn't Becky, is it? Because we saw her
no
death certificate last week.
What was she? 81.
Born in 1980.
Okay.
Old Becky Falconer.
She's 81.
Hatched out of her egg. Who else?
There probably was a live stream of the eggs. You know how people like to do now.
I don't remember who revealed their age this week.
It wasn't like we didn't know this character was the age they said they were, but I think a lot of people were quite surprised for some reason.
I don't know. I'm saying Shona because she went to
hospital.
It's not Shona. She didn't to give her age, did she? Which story was it? Was that too much of a giveaway?
It was the Driscoll story. You won't guess it from that though.
They were talking to... I don't know, who is it? Go on.
James Bailey.
James Bailey. Yeah, there is always a surprise about that, isn't there? It's bizarre because he was the younger of the Bailey siblings, yet both times he's been played by somebody who's older than Ryan Russell, who plays Michael, isn't he? So how old is he at the moment? He's supposed to be, what, 31, 32 possibly?
You think that's in the age of James Bailey?
Yeah.
No.
How old is he?
25.
Oh, really? I thought he was older than that in the show. Okay, yeah.
Well, that doesn't make a good headline, does it? Coronation Street fans say, "Oh, really? I thought he was older than that." As major character's real age is finally revealed.
Okay, well, there we go.
The actor, apparently, I haven't actually fact-checked this, but it came from somebody on Twitter via the Daily Mail, so I don't know why I'd bothered to check, because it's all correct. Apparently the actor is 35, and the guy who played him before, who I've forgotten...
Nathan Graham.
34.
Okay.
So every time they recast him, they'll go 1 year older, probably.
He probably will, won't they? Okay, good. Yeah, nice. Next.
He doesn't look 25.
No.
But then I don't know anybody's ages. I just know younger than me or older than me.
Well, Corrie just likes to confuse us. It's like Will, isn't it? Like, I know he's supposed to be 15 at the moment, and having him sitting there with Liam Connor Jr. earlier this week, or was it? It was last week when they had that beer escapade, wasn't it? And Liam's supposed to be a little bit older than Will, but Will clearly looked a lot older than Liam.
I don't think he does.
I think he does.
Well, he was born in 1980 as well as Becky Falconer.
Who was?
The actor.
What, the plays Will?
No, of course he wasn't.
What are you talking about? That makes it born safe.
I know. That's the joke.
Sorry, I tell you, my migraine is still lingering. Everything I say that's stupid this week, it's still the after effects of my migraine yesterday, okay?
Well, the YouTube people don't know this.
Well, I'm telling you, YouTube people had a migraine yesterday.
If you want to know more, get the podcast.
Yes.
It's available everywhere. ITV Coronation Street, Kevin's shock new romance exposed after Abby split from the Liverpool Echo.
A shock new romance for Kevin. People were still saying about Glenda, I saw online. Is it Glenda?
Yes, it's Glenda.
Yeah, because they had that conversation together that one time recently.
A man and a woman spoke.
I don't think that the age difference is really likely to develop into anything happening there.
The age
it always
difference
makes a difference.
Doesn't make any difference. But I cannot imagine Glenda putting up with Kevin's crap for 5 minutes.
No.
Such a moody, miserable man.
I know you can say a lot for chalk and cheese, but seriously, I do not see them on each other's arms. Glenda's just a good listening ear, as every good barmaid should be.
The only thing you can say that's nice about Kevin is that he hasn't been affected at all by his wife leaving him and having cancer, because he's still a miserable bastard, and he always has been.
I think he's been even worse this year.
No, I don't agree.
Poor old Kevin.
It's not real. Coronation Street fans work out Carla Connor and Lisa Swain's future amid Becky drama. I think this is very obvious. Just don't try to overthink it.
Carla and Becky are going to hook up.
No, you've overthought it.
Carla is going to kill Becky.
Carla and Lisa, what's their future?
They're going to get married. They're going to have a split up.
Yes.
They're going to have a split up, but then they're going to get back together again,
yes.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. You tried to be too imaginative there.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
That'll teach me.
Coronation Street fans rumble Maggie Driscoll's secret in Barlow Link after unexplained move from the Manchester Evening News.
Right, okay. I don't know how much we can talk about...
Did I say that was the Manchester Evening News before?
I don't know how much we can talk about this one because there has been some juicy rumour/leaks online about Maggie Driscoll, hasn't there? So I think maybe we might have to give that one a miss. But we did have one of our lovely listeners write in this week about the Maggie sideboard drama, which we've touched on the podcast before. But yeah, when she goes round to get the punch bowl on a second odd episode, she sees something quite that gives her cause for thought, doesn't she? In Ken's bureau, and we're all kind of wondering what exactly it is. You know, is it seemingly a photograph of somebody? I would assume, but it might.
Everyone's
not be.
Assuming it's a photo, and I can't see what else it would be that would
an engraved, make
you so instantly
an engraved cup. I don't know, but also
maybe it's a dog collar, Eccles dog collar. And she's like, oh, that reminds me, I had a dog who died.
This person also wrote in and said when she comes into the room, she's seeming to be having a look at that little table that's just to the left of the kitchen door. And she was, but I don't know whether she noticed anything particularly disturbing or unusual there, but she might have done.
Just a bit
I'm
nosy.
Not sure.
I would be nosy.
But I'm very curious as to what this is.
Do you want to have any guess about something that might not be a spoiler about what?
Secret link, secret baby, secret mother, secret fling, something along those lines.
Secret prison mate.
Oh, Tracy. I have seen that actually theory, yeah, that Tracy and Thingy were in prison together. But I think the longer that the Driscolls are in the show, the less likely it is that they're going to reveal any link with the character that's currently on it. Because they're always at the pub, those lushes, aren't they, in Coronation Street?
There's definitely a big character a lot of people think that she knows something about, but I don't think that's true.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, we are
dying
kind of
to talk about it because it's really stupid.
Yeah, as a spoiler-free podcast, we are dancing around this.
I know, but we don't really get to talk about the spoilers that don't end up being true.
No, we'll have to try and remember to do that once we do it. But there's lots of talk about what's going on with Maggie.
Well, we do know something,
and I don't particularly. Do I like where it's going? Not necessarily, but I'm very, very intrigued about what's happening. And I think it's still going to be another couple of weeks until we get to the bottom of this. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But yes, are you still loving Maggie?
Yes.
I think I've seen some people online saying that her character's a little bit all over the place at the moment, which I think it still is. And I think this is what happens when you have a new character join and you have all these writers on the team and she hasn't necessarily got a this is what Maggie is yet. Go on.
I just really want to know how... Do they ever have like a I bet they don't do this, but it would feel like something you would do with an important family like the Driscolls. Do they have a workshop where they...
What would they say about X?
Well, no, just where the actor gets to meet the writers and they kind of go like, how would you say this line? Or what do you think of this? Or do they... It feels like they should do that.
Yeah, because sometimes... And then this is what this person... I can't remember where I saw this, so I apologise if I'm stealing your idea, but I'm somewhat crediting you. They were saying, sometimes she's like a gangster boss, sometimes she's there as comic relief, sometimes she's there as stern mother, sometimes she's there as just being a bit of a cow to Eva, and that there is, and sometimes she's a caring and thoughtful neighbour like she was to Asher. Sometimes she's there saying her family's everything, like she was doing to Will this week, and you can be all of those things.
Yeah.
So I personally haven't noticed quite so much of a disparity in characterization from episode to episode, but she's not so obviously, when Evelyn came in, it was clear that she was in she's a battle axe, she says battle axey things, and I don't think we've quite got there in the same way with Maggie yet, but I am definitely still enjoying her. What were you going to say?
I don't remember, but I had a dream about Ben Driscoll yesterday.
Did you?
And he was giving me advice.
Naughty dream.
No, he was giving me advice about stuff, and he was actually being very sensible.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was. Is it Aaron
McCusker? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was him or if it was Ben. I think it was the actor, and he was just like there going, you know what, you really should down blah 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 blah, and I was like, yeah, you know, you're right actually.
I think I'm still surprised myself, and I guess in a pleasant way, that Ben is the Driscoll that is I'm enjoying the most, and I like Maggie. But Ben,
there's a way of expectation with Maggie.
There is. And he's like, oh, she's going to be the next Ivy Tilsley / Blanche / Evelyn. But I'm still loving her. But Ben, I didn't have... I didn't have any preconceptions about particularly. And I was like, oh, I might not like him. And I don't often like the alpha male type characters, but I'm finding him fascinating. And I'm loving how kind of hard he's being, and when he's being the stern dad to Will. And I think that his performances are absolutely outstanding. Surprise win there for Ben. But Eva, on the other hand, still feels like she's a bit sidelined. She seems like the Driscoll that's doing the least. And again, I get it. If it's like, this is a character that we already know, she doesn't need to. But I'm feeling it's the other Driscolls plus Eva show at the moment. Is anyone else getting that? Are you getting that vibe?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things is, what's happened to Leanne and Toya ever since that first episode? First episode in, the Battersby 3, brilliant. That's what we wanted it to be when we heard that Eva was coming back. But aside from that, we had like one episode maybe when Leanne's been back since. Toya's not been hide nor hair in the Rovers since then. And it's mind-boggling to me that they're not leaning into that, and they've decided instead that the focal story of the Driscolls in their debut storyline should be Will's being groomed. And I think, I've got nothing against the actor who's playing Will, but out of all of the Driscolls, aside from maybe Ollie, Will's the one that I'm kind of least interested in seeing a story for.
Yeah. I do remember somebody saying on our Facebook, because I was very rude last week about how boring I found Where's Will.
Where's Willie?
And somebody said, well, you say you don't care about his character, so what's the point? But that this kind of story is how you make somebody care about a character. I don't agree with that, because think about how many times a character's come in and you've just gone, I love them. This character's great. But I know not everyone can be like that, though. Not everyone can instantly... Not just... It's not to do with the actor. It's to do with the sort of character they're going to be. And I think that Will is going to be a vehicle for stories more than he's going to be a person. And
the fact is that they've launched straight into an issues story, haven't they?
That's no slight on the character or the actor. I'm just saying that a lot of the characters on Coronation Street are just vehicles for stories, especially the new ones. The new ones will seem to me like regulars that come in with a big story that they're going to tell, and their personality is constructed entirely around the story. Whereas the characters that have been in it for a long time really should have their own personalities. Not that always is the case.
I know what you mean. I'm not let down or disappointed by the Driscolls. I'm still enjoying them, and I'm still loving that the Rovers is being a central focus of the show. I think when we asked for that and when we were expecting that, I was hoping that it would be not about a grooming storyline.
Yeah.
And that it would be about just general day-to-day pub stuff. But I still do love that they've had more Rovers scenes in the past 3 weeks than they'd had, all year. And that's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but it feels a little bit like it sometimes.
But it's frustrating because it's Megan. It's like Kate Brooks heard us going, oh, we love female villains, we love femme fatales, we want somebody, to come in to be a woman who's like a proper nasty, evil, wrong'un. Like, we don't get that very much on Corrie. Please, can you make us one? And Kate Brooks went, yeah, let's make a proper vile. And we were like, yeah, make her really horrible. Make her like a proper nasty one. And she went, yeah. What about paedophile? And we went, no, what the hell do you mean? Why do you have to do it that way?
Yeah, we've got Becky on the female villain stakes.
Because truly, haven't we? I think that is the worst, like, murderers and serial killers and fraudsters and just plain old bitches, arsonists. Love them.
Poisoners.
Yeah.
Had one of those recently.
But you can't get behind a Meghan, can you?
No.
There's nothing fun about that, is there? No. Not one tiny little bit.
No, whereas, yeah, you're right, with the Pat Phelans of this world, we can go, bump off another one, Pat.
Yeah, get them. No, you can't do that. You can't. You just go, this is horrible. This is nothing to say about. There's no discussion points, is there? Well, can you imagine what's our discussion points going to be about Meghan? So how old? No, you can't. You can't even go anywhere with it. It's like, no, there's no room for anything. This is just grim.
Yeah, and
vile. And
with Will, like I said last week, he still at the moment is like, he could be any random Corrie teenager.
He could have picked this story. They could have done this storyline with anybody who's under the age of 16.
Yeah, and Corrie, since Ian McLeod's joined, has had just a few too many stories focusing around those late teenage characters, and here comes another one.
At least they're all age appropriate, and I don't think many of them could be done with obviously you couldn't do this storyline with anybody, although you're doing it with Tim, but at least they're actually relevant to the ages of the characters. Then the counterpoint to that is that a lot of people don't care about teen problems because they're not teens. No,
but you got to get that teen audience in, haven't you, Gemma? This is tempting them away from their TikToks and their Roblox and
their mine shafts.
Yeah, that's the one. Right.
I did have one more, but I don't think you're going to really get far with it, so I'll just tell you.
Go on then.
Coronation Street Theo's crossover twist unveiled in Emmerdale Bombshell.
No,
you've got no idea. This is from OK. And it's apparently there's a character called Kev in Emmerdale, which is copying.
Kev, total copying. We came up with that first.
He has an elastic band on his wrist that he uses to calm himself down, and they wonder if they've met in conversion therapy.
Could do.
Now, I really do think that we're constructing vast networks of connections between these two shows that will never materialise, because I don't think there's going to be very many scenes actually crossing over. I still don't know where they're going with
I really don't know. I read this week a theory that woman with the farm.
Oh, the woman.
In the hat. You know, the one that you like.
The posh
Moira?
one.
Is that her name in Emmerdale?
The one with the shotgun. They've all got shotguns.
They said that she was going to be related to one of the Driscolls, I think. This is all total theory. I don't know.
What's the name of the actress?
I don't know.
She's a black character.
Yeah, but we enjoyed her when we watched her over in
We have that link, don't we? Because we've got the Will and Ollie are mixed race. So we know that there was Mrs. Driscoll perhaps was, black or mixed race herself.
Yes.
So has she gone to live on a farm?
Maybe she has. Anyway, Shall we get cracking? We're talking for realsers about what happened in this week's Coronation Street, because we've not really even given poor David and Shona a mention, and they were yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Gemma's just pointing at a little
icon logo. I don't know what
screen.
it means.
It means screen sharing with something.
Why are you doing?
Connected to the TV. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So David and Shona this week.
Someone could be copying everything we're saying, and then they'll release it before us and get all the glory like we normally do.
Peep Show is the first storyline this week, and this was an inspiration that I don't think any of us saw coming in Coronation Street, but for Wednesday, well, the first half of Wednesday's episode at least, we got to see inside the minds of David and Shona Platt, and some people loved it and some people hated it.
I just need to say one thing about this. Now, the cultural impact of Peep Show on the UK is so great that you can never do what they did on Coronation Street without people talking about Peep Show.
For those who've not seen Peep Show,
if you haven't
continue the sentence, Gemma.
If you haven't seen Peep Show, it is it Channel 4 comedy?
Yes.
What's this? Mitchell
and Webb.
I've forgotten their names. Their first names.
They don't need them. It's fine.
But I often will liken Mark to Ken. So he's one of the main characters. Mark and Jez are the two main characters. And the whole premise is it's a comedy where you hear their thoughts and then they say something, and quite often what they think and what they say are two different things.
And the cameras are always like pointing out of their eyes, aren't they? Is that always from one of their two points of views?
And quite often the characters will look directly into the camera because they're talking to a character and you're the character because you're the camera. Because it's a comedy, when you hear someone's thoughts on British television, you instantly go, Peep Show.
Yeah.
So the fact that they chose this storytelling vehicle to tell an incredibly tragic story was so jarring and difficult to overcome because of the history of comedy of this storytelling device. I don't think that it worked very well. And it is just because of Peep Show.
Yeah, but at least it did make a very easy storyline title in Peep Show for Shona.
Please look up Peep Show on YouTube. If you have never seen it and you like British comedy, it is actually one of my favourite shows of all time.
You've watched it many times through, haven't you?
10, 12, series I just love it.
There are. So we're going to kick off with that one. Then we're going to have the Will Groomed storyline, which is, depending on your accent, sounds exactly the same as Well Groomed, which is why it works as a storyline title. I'm going to say like South African maybe. He's very well groomed. Well groomed. I don't know. We're going to be talking about that one first, which is not a laughing matter whatsoever.
Elon Musk is going to be mad at you.
So all the Driscoll malarkey is going to come next. Then we have got everything that's happened with the Metcalfes this week. I've written Once Upon a Tim here as the old storyline title, which was just to give it a link to the grooming storyline, but there was stuff going on with Joni and Shoni and Brony. There was stuff going on with, I think I've put Kevin's poker game here as well. So it's all a bit of a mishmash there. Then we've got Fizz. Fizz is over because she's having a bit of a mare of a time at the moment, isn't she? Poor old Fiona there. And Tyrone trying to pick up the slack. We've got Beck from the Dead, made of...
That's a New Zealand one.
Beck from it is, isn't it? Yeah. But very small, slight appearance this week, wasn't she, old Becky Swain and co. And then coming in on Friday's episode, returning from the dead, was the Undertaker Under the Thumb story, which is surely going to blow up on Monday when Todd oversleeps, thanks to Theo's
it's okay. He told me, unpluggery.
Yes.
He told me to give him a ring if he wasn't up.
Todd did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gemma, Todd needs to wake up at 7:30 on Monday morning, and bless you, you're probably going to be dead to the world at that point.
You talk nonsense, my friend, because you quite often will wake me up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I get mad.
Yeah, but you go back to sleep again. You usually sleep at 7:30, aren't you?
How many... If you look back on your text messages, you'll find that that's not necessarily the case.
I stand potentially corrected. So we're going to do the...
Anyway... if somebody asks me to wake him up, I'll wake him up. Okay. I'll set my alarm. Nobody's going to unplug it in my house.
But anyway, how would you wake him up? Because his phone's not got any battery in.
I phone up Theo. I've got Theo's number.
Watertight.
Me and Christina got Theo's number. Okay.
Okay, right. Peep Show first. So this is very tragic story.
He needs a knocker-upper.
Yeah, I was just thinking about knocker-uppers, yeah. Speaking of which, Shona's in the club at the moment.
David's the knocker-upper for this storyline.
Yeah, he's got the giant pole that's been...
Oh no! Apparently, we've
heard of Celebrity Big Brother, yeah, and what was going on there. So this we all saw this coming, didn't we? Things had just been a little bit too lovely and hopeful and precious in Platland, and they were looking forward to this baby and what could possibly go wrong, etc., etc., etc. Well, this week was when it all came crashing down.
Yeah, and I love Kate Brooks, but she's the head of the household here. So it's like Kate Brooks went, you guys love cancer storylines, and we went, no, we don't like them. She went, no, you love them really. What about after we had Toya's one, which you didn't cry about enough, and then we had Kev's one and no one seemed to care. What about if we gave a baby cancer that wasn't even born yet? That would be a cool idea, right? Is everyone like that? I know it's not been called the C word yet, but it's
a mass.
Did they call it a tumour or a growth?
No. I think they called it a mass or a growth. I think because Shona's still kind of holding out the fact that it is benign and they'll be able to lop it off and then everything's going to be all fine and dandy. I don't
know lots about all the different sorts of cancer, funnily enough, but there are some that you can just have surgically removed and you don't actually need any follow-up. But I don't think they could do any follow-up, could they?
I am still at the moment, and we're going all over the place with this. I'm still saying at the moment that this is going to be okay. I seriously, very highly doubt that this is going to end in real tragedy and losing the baby or anything like that. I really don't think it will. I think this is just a hurdle, really big hurdle, and a bit like I said this on the short the other day, that when you give Debbie a dementia storyline, you're very sad about it and you think, what on earth are they doing? Why are they getting rid of that character? Why are they giving this beloved icon of the street a horrible degenerative disease? But then you think, well, yeah, but Sue Devaney's going to do a bloody good job of it, don't you? And this is what I'm thinking with David and Shona. Jack P. Shepherd is definitely and consistently referred to as one of the best actors on the street. And Julia Golding as well, I think that she is absolutely fab and flawless, and I think that she's one of the best additions to the programme in the last decade. Yes. And I think that they are going to do, and have been doing so far, an absolutely sterling job on it. But I don't think that it's going to end up in a horrible tragedy. I don't think they're going to lose the baby. I think it's going to be a risk. The drama comes at the moment between them deciding, do we have the surgery or don't we? I think she's going to have the surgery. I think the baby's going to be fine enough. I mean, we've just had bloody Frankie last year with all his bone marrow transplant nonsense. They wouldn't do that again. So I think, in the same way that I am pretty certain that Carla and Lisa will get through all the obstacles that come in their way, I think that David and Shona are going to be okay. So I'm not really feeling too sad about this at the moment. I'm just enjoying the performances.
I say, if you really cared about your character as a Coronation Street actor, you would not be very good at acting.
Why is this?
Because then they won't give you really hard jobs like pretend your baby is ill.
No, that's not how it works.
It is how it works.
But they love it.
No, they wouldn't give this to a poor actor, so therefore anyone who's really good at acting doesn't care about their character.
I would say that Julia Golding has been seriously underused in the past few years, and she's been there racking up the appearance counts just by bless you again.
It's that pepper.
It is. Standing behind the counter at Roy's and having a good old time, but she hasn't had mega dramatic stuff to do, at least in the same extent that Jack P has. And I think this is going to be, her opportunity to get herself on the front of the soap magazines and awards, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? So anyway, I think it's going to be fine. So,
well, inner thoughts is not the way to go with it.
No, it's all about outer thoughts.
You're not going to get any for your peep show.
Right, Monday's episode, they got their scan, haven't they?
45 minutes into the show. 45 minutes into this podcast, and we're getting to the first scene of...
Yeah. But I think I'm going to say that this week's Corrie wasn't another week for the ages, so there'll be other bits that'll be able to run past, don't worry. They're got their scan today, so they missed the last one a couple of weeks ago because David got stuck in a lift, and they rather than getting a follow-up straight away there and then, they decided to wait a few weeks, or maybe that's all they could get, I don't know. But Shona's telling David, you better bloody be there today or else.
Yeah.
And that's the main drama on Monday, isn't it? Because David nearly misses that appointment again, all thanks to Kit. So he's still smarting, Kit is, over this conversation that David and Shona and Sarah Louise were having in the bistro last week, where they were having this sweepstake about how long the pair of them would be together. And Sarah is still talking to Kit and saying, look, honestly, are you going to be around in 6 months' time? And he's just non-committal about it. Sarah, give him the boot. Seriously.
There's nothing wrong with being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want any deep commitment, but that only if you also agree.
Yes, exactly.
But what does she want the commitment for at this point?
I think that Sarah does.
But
I mean,
why?
She married Adam. She thought that was going to be forever. I think that she has matured.
Change her mind.
She wants to have a secure home for Harry to grow up in. I think that she does. I don't think that she wants to play around anymore. I think she wants a guy that's for keeps. And just the fact that he was there saying to her, well... He basically no-commented.
I know.
So I got this from the interviews.
I haven't got my brief with me.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not signing anything without my lawyer.
Honestly. But
if I'm Kit, I'm non-committal with Sarah. Sorry. Well, don't tie your horse to this woman.
Why?
She's a maniac.
She's a bit of a catch, is Sarah Louise.
What?
I know that her life is very chaotic.
She's got a lovely flat.
Oh yeah, well that comes.
And
up,
it's quite a nicely balanced, masculine, feminine decor style. I think. I think that I don't know what Gary's thinking with all that pink, but like this is quite dark, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
So I'd move in if I was Kit.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Also,
want to
he's got that haunted microwave in his one.
Oh, what was it?
With Uncle Stephen making gurning faces in it.
Yeah. Anyway, Kit confronts David in the precinct later, and they have a bicker because Kit's still annoyed about putting the idea in Sarah's head that he wasn't really for
He's
keeps.
causing troubles.
Yeah, and then Kit arrests him. Well, kind of. He kind of fake arrests him, doesn't he? Which we've seen happen before, but David thinks, oh, not again, you can't do this to me. But actually, Kit's just taking him into the car to bring him to the hospital. I didn't really get what was going on there. Did he change his mind halfway through, or...?
I think Kit realised he'd gone a bit far with it.
Because he probably was annoyed at David.
Yeah. He's just used to abusing his power.
Yeah, it just comes naturally to him, doesn't it?
He thinks about it.
Yeah,
good job he's not American, isn't it? David would be dead.
Yeah.
He was coming right for me.
David gets driven to the hospital by Kit because he's a nice guy after all. That's something I don't really know.
But that's why I like him.
But Shona's there at the hospital getting very frantic. No, she's not. She's waiting to go to the hospital, isn't she?
Sarah had given her a lift.
Yes.
So they are at the hospital, and there's a really good scene where she needs the toilet.
That was fantastic. Now,
Julia
need the toilet acting from Julia Goulding.
From me, gets the performance of the year for that.
Just the squiggling around on the chair.
I completely believe that she needed the toilet in that scene, and actually it was starting to get to me too.
Do you think that she properly did it method? Do you think that she just downed a couple of litres of water before the director said action?
Yeah, normally she has a pathetic baby bump, but that was just water.
It wasn't just floating.
That was just 3 litres of Ribena.
Yeah. Sarah's trying to take her mind off the fact... Yeah, the reason that she's had a lot to drink is because she needs it for the scan. Because that's what happens, apparently. I don't know.
Need a full bladder.
Anyway, Sarah's talking about Kit with Shona and saying, oh, maybe I should just break up to him and with him. And Shona's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, because she needs a toilet. She doesn't care.
No. And then Shona gets called in just as David arrives. Hurrah. So, they're getting their scan. We've all been there before. In Coronation Street, that is. Never for real, have we? Never experienced the joy of that, darling, me and you. We've been to adopt a cat before, though, from the.
You don't get to see the cat in the belly of the other cat, though, do you?
No, but you get to see it in a cage. I suppose it's a bit different with the baby because you can't say, I'll pick that one.
A pregnant woman is like a cage.
Yeah, a cage for a baby. And then it might poke out. I don't know. Was this the scene? I can't remember whether it was Monday or Wednesday's trip to the hospital. It was Wednesday's, wasn't it? Where Shona was looking at the pregnancy posters on the wall, and there was that one that looked like
two of them.
There was 2 of them that looked like a woman was doing the splits. We put it on Twitter, and it didn't catch fire as much as we hoped for. But it really looked like there was a woman doing a splits, which had a QR code over her foof.
A noonie.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're in there.
That's because it was a lot of really sad. Like, we just looked at it, the picture, and went, but there was a lot of tragic stuff on that notice board that we just glossed completely over.
Yes, because we're heartless like that.
Yeah,
anyway, they're getting their scan. They can see the baby on screen. Very chuffed. Midwife's checking for 11 different conditions. I don't know what they are. And she's not really looking very good, is it? She declares that there might be a mass on the baby's neck. Horrible stuff. Horrible stuff.
Yes, it's horrible.
There's the utter nightmare. Because I don't know, do people go to these scans worried generally, or do they go excited?
Because this is what I would be like.
You'd be going there thinking...
The whole way through, I'd be like, this is going to turn out bad.
Yeah. I suppose it's a bit like...
very pessimistic
getting your blood tests back, isn't it?
No, it's
supposed to be like a joyous life moment.
Affirming.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest moments of your life.
Just to see the heartbeat, and then that's how it starts off.
Yeah.
But
this is like the most special thing possible, and then you get given the worst news you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely horrible stuff. And this woman can't tell them very much either, can she? She says, well, I'm going to have to refer you to a consultant, but it's going to be pretty urgent. We'll get you in there quick. And that's just make it worse, isn't it? Like, oh, okay, so I need to be told more about this.
I've got to wait to find out what you're talking about when you say there's a mass on the baby's neck, because...
And the fact that you said it's urgent, in a way it means it's good because I'm hopefully going to be seen soon, but equally, the time between now and that episode when it happens, I'm just going to be thinking of nothing else.
And they can't tell you anything because they don't know.
No.
And you're not going to go, all right, I'll just sit quietly at home. So you go online like
Shona goes and Dr. Googles it, doesn't she?
And of course, you're not looking for the stories where they say, oh, it's fine. You're looking to find out what's the worst thing that could possibly happen. And we all know what that is.
Yeah. So they go home and so, like you say, Shona's just there trying to look it up online, and David has to stop her. But at least they find out that they got an appointment on Wednesday, so they don't have to wait too long. Audrey comes round, and she's really excited because she wants to know about the scan. And don't they say to her that they had to delay the scan or something? So that's the reason that they give.
They didn't actually have the appointment.
Yeah. David says there was a computer error or something, doesn't he? But yeah, they end the episode, well, close to the end of the episode at least, with a lovely, lovely hug with David and Shona together. And this is why I'm glad that David and Shona are the ones that have got this story over probably anybody else, because they are a couple that I care deeply about, and I believe besotted with each other and will support each other. And I know that Shona was...
oh no, let's not go bringing.
She went with Kit last year, didn't she?
Let's not go there.
But I totally buy them together, and they celebrate together, and they grieve together, and they hug together, and they cry together, and yeah, they're pretty inseparable to me. And there were a couple of scenes over these 2 episodes which had them both just literally there in each other's arms, and that's almost all they're needed to be. And we get to find out a little bit more about what's going on inside their heads, and how David is trying to put on a front or to not talk about it, and we'll get to there when we get there. But yeah, I loved all those just huggy moments, and it's the dialogue not always needed. We've also got a little bit after
body
that.
language.
Yes, exactly. A little bit after that of Kit and Sarah, and he's in her flat, and she's saying, "Oh, well, you know what you said earlier. I got the impression that you think that our relationship's a bit more casual than I do." And he says, "Well, look, I just enjoyed my freedom for so long, but actually now I reckon I'm up for settling down, actually." And he invites her and Harry to come and live in his flat, and she's like, "No, you can move in here." So
I don't trust Harry on the stairs.
I was really hoping that this was going to be the end for Sarah and Kit.
Kit.
No, I mean, they're just rubbish, aren't they?
No, I like them. I love Kit. I don't care what anybody says.
No, do you mean what I say? Because I'm the only person I think that's got
No, loads of people hate him. Loads of people hate him.
Against Kit. He's just no good for her. He's clearly no good for her.
He's my mischievous, lanky beanpole.
Sorry, no, he's
so naughty.
Although he's gonna break her heart.
Him arresting David was just like, oh, no, come on, that's stupid.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so that's all going to be hunky-dory for them, apparently, for the time being. And then you get a final scene of Shona and David at the end of the episode, and they're watching a film, but she can't concentrate because she's worried about the bad news.
We've all had moments in our life where we're waiting for something terrifying. Some news that's going to change your life. Well, I think we have. I don't know if that's... I hope it's not really universal. But,
I think it probably is.
How could you... You just can't. I wouldn't be able to even... She can't eat anything.
No, as much... people talk about doing something to distract you, but for some things that are as big as this...
there's nothing.
Nothing can do the job.
No.
You just almost just like, I've got to go to sleep. If I can go to sleep... then I won't be thinking about it anymore.
Exactly, but you can't sleep.
No.
Normally.
No.
It's horrible.
So David, bless him, ends the episode by saying they should split the last samosa and then hold each other really close.
I think he's just going to eat it.
So then we had Wednesday's episode, and I think before we watched this episode, I'd seen that the first half of the episode was going to be dedicated to David and Shona, but I didn't know anything else. Did you? I know you'd seen again bits online, hadn't you, during the day before we properly watched it? But before Wednesday, did you have any idea that there was another special episode coming in?
No idea this was coming, except Wednesday when the Twitter feed sort of exploded a little bit with people going, that was dreadful.
Yeah, that seems to be the overall impression that's being taken away from at least the more vocal of the social media commenters.
I think a lot of people just aren't going to say they liked it at this point. If they did...
Oh, I will. I'm going to say...
Not on Twitter. I know you. Oh, right. Okay. I did say a lot of people, didn't I?
I actually really surprised myself with this because we were watching it and you knew that it was happening, and I got home from school and we put it on.
I was just
and you really and you said afterwards, I wish I could have filmed your reaction to this.
Yeah.
So the credits, the intro credits come and it says Coronation Street, blah blah blah, and then you see, I think the first shot is Shona looking in the mirror, isn't it? And then you hear inside her head, and then within half a second I'm like, oh bloody hell.
Yeah, you went, oh no.
What are they doing?
What is this?
And you're like, I wish that we could have filmed that and put it online, because that was the same reaction probably that everybody had. And
immediate knee-jerk
I've just got a knee-jerk reaction to anything that's a little bit too out there and different and hashtag not Corrie. But sometimes it works and I eat my words, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, okay, this sounds good, I'll give it a try. And other times I'm like, no, don't want it. That's not what Corrie should be about. But I sat through the whole of the first quarter of the episode with it being from Shona's point of view, kind of thinking that and saying, well, what's the point of this? Why can't it just be normal? I get that we're knowing what Shona's thinking, but it's all a bit odd, and they're just trying to be clever again. But then when the second quarter of the episode went back in time, because I think the first quarter ends with them being asked into the doctor's room, aren't they? The specialist's room. And then after the break, they're back at the house again. And my immediate thought was, oh, there's been a time jump forward. They're back home again after
they're going to find out.
And then they start replaying the scene again. And I was like, okay,
yes,
I think I'm going to buy this. And I really actually ended up enjoying it. And again, I know that that's not the takeaway that most people have from this episode, but I very pleasantly surprised myself by how willing I was to go along with the idea that we're seeing it from both characters' points of views, and then how much I liked it. And there were some bits that still could have been done better. We were talking when we were watching it about how much extra did we actually learn from what was going in their heads that we wouldn't have got from not doing it that way. And I think there was still bits, especially with David, because I really appreciated getting to see how some of the cockiness, the sarcasm, the snarky remarks he gives are
a front.
Yeah, a front, kind of downplaying the fact that he's actually bricking it inside. I enjoyed that, and I definitely believe that about David. So yeah, on the whole, and that's why for the on the Street Talk short in the end, it's like I think banging despite initial misgivings. By the way, if you haven't watched our Street Talk short from Wednesday, please do. We did something a little bit different this week.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
So go and have a look, go and check it out. So what's your, now we're a few days out from it, lasting impression of this?
I mean,
good or bad?
One thing they did differently to Peep Show, which I don't think anyone's really given them enough credit for, is the storytelling device wasn't just internal thoughts, it was replaying the scene again, but from a different perspective. And you don't get that on Peep Show, it's simultaneous. You hear everyone's thoughts, or the two main characters. So the time reverse was an interesting addition to that narrative device, but it
reframes some of what we've seen slightly differently, not massively. Partly.
My criticism is, number one, Shona's not an internal monologue person. Everything she thinks you hear anyway. And the other thing, like you kind of touched on a little bit, I don't think that we learned anything that wasn't going to be obvious to us because we know the characters so well. Like if you, I honestly think if you told everybody who's watching, right, fill in what you think the character's thinking now, I don't think many people would have said anything different to what they came up with, which is fine because it means that the characters are so well developed and acted and performed that you know them that well. But then it kind of like makes the purpose of the device superfluous, really. So that was my main criticism, is that we didn't learn anything.
They possibly could have played a little bit more with, like with Mary, for example. The first time that we see Shona in the car, she sees Mary walking past, kind of scratching at her head, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on with Mary?" And then in the second quarter, you see David making a hash job of Mary's hair, and she goes off at the salon without getting the job finished, and then that explains what Shona saw. So that maybe they could have done a little bit more like that, or maybe having more scenes that only one of them is in but not the other, like we saw. And again, this is going to be quite difficult to synopsise, really, because I don't want to run through the whole thing twice. But there was one bit where David, again, when Shona's in the car, David is hanging around inside. And the second time that I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, we're going to find something really exciting, or not exciting, but really unexpected or surprising of what's David doing when he's inside. And they showed him with the baby grows that had been delivered in the post. And it's like, oh, okay, yes, he wants to hide that.
That makes sense.
But there wasn't it wasn't a massive shocking reveal.
This is the thing. They're never going to do this again, because I think that this is one of their, playing with the medium things, which I'm always going to support them trying, because I do think it's interesting.
For every, what's a bad one that they've done?
I don't know.
For every this one in some people's eyes, you get a Mason's death episode, don't you? Which was universally praised.
This show's been going 65 years. You can have half an episode where something's a bit different, and it's fine. So
some people were saying it should have been the whole episode. Like, why half-arse it?
No. Too long.
It probably would have been too long, but it's interesting that maybe they chose to do this now rather than holding on to the device until the new year when the episodes are going to be half an hour.
Would have made more sense to do it then. And I'm going to say, I don't know why particularly this storyline or these characters they chose for this. I think there are situations that would have been way more exciting and juicy. This wasn't juicy, was it? This was sad and tragic. This is two people that you really like experiencing one of the worst things that they can, and nothing about what they thought in their heads was different to what I thought they would think. I'd rather they use this for something where someone's actually hiding something. And also the other thing about it is that, the peep show stuff is one thing, but David and Shona are both super sarcastic, and so some of the things they were thinking were funny.
I like when Shona was in the waiting room looking at the posters, and then she's got the other pregnant women there, haven't you? One of them really looked like she just had a really big curry, and Shona's there looking at her going, smug git.
Yeah.
And I love that. But also you pointed out that she was making a face to say smug git. And I think if I was that woman, I'd be like, what's that problem?
No, she was giving her a stink face for no reason at all. Like, sorry, you should be able to hear what I'm thinking. You're a smug cow.
Yeah.
Does that help? Yeah, anyway, so that's my criticism of it. I did give it a bang in because like I said at the end of the short, I don't know if I loved it or I hated it. I really don't know.
I definitely didn't hate it.
Err on the side of being positive, because I think that creativity should be supported, and taking risks should be rewarded, because it's too easy to play it safe.
But it was also what made me give it a bang in was the performance of the main actors, the main players. Jack and Shona are fantastic. They are one of my favourite couples on the show at the moment. So the fact that it was an episode dedicated partly to them is all good in my book. And actually a lot of what happened for the rest of Wednesday's episode, because you had like the poker scenes, for example, there are lots of nighttime stuff, which is always special these days in Coronation Street.
Yeah, that kind of added to my giving it a banging. The fact that there were like friends, everyone's going, oh, I want friend scenes. Then we have a poker scene. You never have that. And then everyone just talked about the bits they hated in that episode. That part of the story was good, because you get to see them doing stuff. I'm sure they used to do things like that more in the old days, let's all get together and have a chat or play poker or a game or whatever.
There's definitely been poker scenes before, but and it was almost similar, wasn't it? Because in this one you had Kev almost losing his car to Sally, and I'm pretty sure that, was it Fred or Mike, one of those two, lost their car or the business or something to the other one at one of these scenes in the past. I almost would have liked to have lent a little bit more into the poker scenes. It felt like it was over and done with
pretty quick,
sooner than it needed to be. But anyway, we digress. I mean, basically, I think we should probably just run through this chronologically, really, rather than going back in time again, because there's only a few little divergences for both of the characters. But you got the pair of them in the kitchen, and David's saying that he's asking questions to fill time, isn't he? And I might sometimes do this.
I just gave you a look.
You just gave me a Shona's Dingo there. He's saying, oh, what, 3 o'clock is it? And that's the sort of thing where I'd say to you, and you're like, yes, you know it's 3 o'clock, why are you asking me this?
That was so funny, because it is what you do. When you get nervous or something, you make small talk with me, and I hate it.
Yeah. And Shona does as well here. And David, inside his head, is saying, oh, what do I do here? And you can hear him kind of criticising himself and saying, why did I say that?
But you don't have that bit, though, do you?
No, I don't have that.
You're like, la, 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 la.
If they did this to me, there'd be nothing going on inside my head, I'll tell you what.
It would have been so funny if they just cut to Mary. She's walking down the road and she's going, mother, blah, mother, 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 mother. And then they cut to Kirk and he's just like birds tweeting or something.
It's just echoing, yeah.
A hamster on a wheel.
But it's like you get in The Simpsons when you zoom in on Homer's head, don't you? And it's what's going on in there. Anyway, so she wants to tell him everything's all right, but it isn't. And she wants him to tell her that, but he doesn't. And then when you see that scene again later on, he's saying, I suppose I should tell her, but I can't. And then he loses the opportunity. And it's something that a lot of us will have experienced in the past, knowing that we need to say something and then the moment goes. Really well done. And then you get Shona walking down the street and walking into a very smug Dee Dee and Layla.
No, she's not being smug.
I'm just saying it from Shona's point of view. And Shona's trying to swerve around there because Dee Dee's just whittering on about babies. And this is the last thing that Shona needs to hear at the moment, because as far as she knows at the moment, she may not have a baby to look forward to.
This is the trouble, isn't it? Because I don't really ever go around, know pregnant women. None of my friends have ever been pregnant. But my thoughts are that were I to know somebody who was pregnant, I would just never talk about it.
Would you?
Yeah, just don't mention it at all. Because it could be tragic and sad. Though. This is exactly it. This is exactly it. There are so many things that
that sounds like an excuse not to organise a baby shower to me. It's like, just in case.
Just in case something terrible happens.
It's not that I'm a cheapskate.
No, I'm just saying, internet
on the side of
internet
caution.
scolds have kind of ruined lots of normal human interactions that you would have with people by telling you that in one case somebody said something completely innocuous and it was the worst possible thing to have ever said, and it ruined their life forever.
Yes.
So there was a lady at the community centre who had a baby recently, and everyone was talking to her about it, and I was like, this is really lovely, because genuinely the only time I ever see pregnancy is on Coronation Street, and it's always tragic. I was like, wow, everyone's really happy about this baby, don't they know?
You get to see Shona in the cafe. It was funny because the other thing that we've not touched on yet is the film stock, or whatever. I don't know the phrase or the camera or the definition or whatever it is. The frame rate, I don't know. Because when you... And it was a storytelling device, a way of showing, okay, we're inside a character's head now, wasn't it? But as soon as you get that, you get this very
jarring,
warts and all zoom up of somebody's face that they're looking at, a very, very ultra HD kind of thing. And then other times it's just normal. And that was a little bit jarring.
Like that,
I didn't really like that they did that.
Was necessary.
I think it probably was necessary to say this is an inside somebody's head bit. But yeah, it didn't really work for me. But anyway, Roy's going on about trains. Shona can't cope and leaves. And meanwhile, you just had David going forward but back in time. Yeah, you got David spent his morning listening to other people whittering on, and then it's Mary, isn't it? You hear him saying, "Oh, my brain cells are dying."
So rude.
Well,
I don't think he was getting cross with them because they were just making
Audrey and Sally as well,
conversation. But he had no right to be mad at them because he didn't tell anybody. If he had told them,
he's just saying, "I'm thinking about serious things," and you're thinking that what you're talking about, your old biddies, is important. But actually, what's important here is life and death.
I know. I think a lot of us have had moments like that, but I think we're all self-aware enough to realise that the things that are going on in our lives are not everyone else's problem.
And poor Audrey, I felt so bad for her as well, because she
know.
can see on Monday's episode and today that there's something not quite right with
They won't
David.
tell.
And she understands him and she knows what he's like,
Yeah.
and she can spot that there's something going on here. And she tries to sit him down and talk about it, and he's like, I'd rather choke on my own vomit. Actually,
that was
is what,
rude.
What he thinks, yeah, but he thinks it, so it's fine. It's okay. And he also bumps into Kirk at one point, inviting him to the poker night, and David says, no, sorry, I can't go. I've got my family stuff.
I was going to choke on my own vomit, but I already did that with my gran.
So then they have the two stories kind of combining, which is Shona. Oh no, because Shona goes and has a little chat with Roy in Seb's garden, doesn't she, for a little bit?
Yes.
But yeah, eventually she gets talking to David, and he's trying to, again, not talk about things by making jokes about dogs, I think he was talking about, and she's saying, why is he trying to act all smart and clever at a time like this? Doesn't he realise how serious this is? And David's saying, I just don't know what to say. This is my defence mechanism. When I don't want to talk about my feelings, I make sarky jokes. And yeah, like you said, that was very much... Although you would expect that the characters are probably thinking that, it was nice that they acknowledged it. I
do think that they would have said this to each other. If they weren't having their thoughts, I don't know why they wouldn't have had this discussion. Why these two characters do not hold their thoughts in their heads for long. And they're always really honest with each other.
Yeah.
That's why this didn't super work for me.
Okay, I get it. So they're getting in the car, ready to go to the hospital, and David heads inside, and this is when he sees the baby grows. Shona's in the car, ducking out the way so that she doesn't have to speak to Mary, which was quite funny. And then they just get into a horrible argument, which is very much the sort of thing that can happen between couples when you're going through massive drama like this. Any little thing can... I
know what you mean.
Anything can tip you over to just be at each other's throats. So I thought it was, very well observed. And she's kind of screaming at him to get out the car, and he's like, I'm not going. And then you hear inside her head saying, please don't go.
Yeah, that was really effective.
That really, really was. And then when you get to the hospital, she's there on her own, and I was thinking, has he not gone with her then? But it turns out that he just went to a vending machine, did he? I think maybe. But anyway, it all converges in the moment where Shona is called into the room, and throughout all of the separation, physically and mentally, that they'd had throughout the episode, they merge back together again to hear the news that there's this mass on the baby's neck. Could be a block in the baby's airway, it could be a build-up of amniotic fluid, or it could cause a build-up of amniotic fluid, so maybe the baby could come early. And basically, they're very early on, presented with the option of having an abortion here. Or they could go ahead with it, and Shona would then have to have more ultrasounds, have some surgery, very, very risky, while it's still inside her as well. Incredible. They're very clever.
Isn't that incredible?
Very, very clever, yeah. And by the way, it's a girl. And that kind of gets dropped in. I think you noticed it before, David.
She,
yeah.
Something. I was like, oh, it's a girl.
Yeah. I wish that they'd had a boy.
Oh, what?
What? No. You're allowed to have a preference.
No, you're not.
You certainly are.
I don't care as long as it's healthy.
Well, that is the most important thing, of course. But I would really like David to raise a little mini David, and I know we kind of got there with Max.
I think it's Max. Honestly, I know what you're saying.
I want him to have his own.
I do get what you're saying. I think there's a bit of gender bias here.
I think there is, yeah.
No. Let me finish. In that, I think that people are more protective of girls, and I think that they've made her a girl to kind of pull on the heartstrings even more. And I'm not saying people don't care about baby boys. Clearly they do. Just ask China.
I was going to say that.
Historically, people care more about baby boys than they do about girls. Now it's our time to reign. But yeah, I think that a female feels like more vulnerable, and you want to protect and love. And also, the reaction of lots of women will be like, oh, a girl, oh. And it's sad because it's just because they want to put them in outfits.
I mean, I guess that kind of
lots
matches...
of women want girls.
That kind of matches with the fact that Shona is straight away saying, well, we're going to do everything we can to keep this baby alive. Termination, no thank you very much.
I think she would have said the same if it was a boy.
I think that she probably would.
It's really hard because I'm not trying to be sexist against boys or rude about people that prefer one or the other, but I don't think you can ignore the stereotypes and the gender roles that are involved in the gender of the baby.
Yeah. So anyway, David is very surprised how chill Shona is being about this, because we spent the first half of the episode hearing inside David's thoughts and just about how he's like that duck paddling under the water madly, and he's saying, well, look, we've been presented with this awful news, this magnificent choice to make, not magnificent, magnitude
of great magnitude.
A big life-changing decision to make, and you're seeming like you just
made it already.
Yeah. And Shona's like, well, yeah, I have. We're going to keep this baby. Well, no way am I getting a termination. I'm going to go through this. It's going to be absolutely fine. And she's like, oh, people are always told with surgery there's going to be risks. And yeah, everyone, lots of people watching will have signed something before going under the knife saying, if we kill you, it's not our fault. Do you agree?
It's your fault, really.
And so do you think that she's being naive, or is she just trying to look on the bright side on purpose?
There's a lot of denial here. She just literally only heard, here's how we're going to fix it. She didn't hear anything else.
I kind of want to hear inside her head now.
Now, exactly. This is where it would have been interesting, because David's like, well, clearly that is obvious. And she's like, well, clearly it's obvious. And they both came out with different
He doesn't think
opinions.
It's obvious. He says, I think we should consider a termination.
Well, I think he's scared of losing his wife because he's lost one wife already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just careless after a while.
Yeah. This is going to be bringing back memories of him on the cobbles with Kylie bleeding out there. And he doesn't want to lose another one. I mean, I know he's seen his mum go through it plenty of times as well. He's like, I don't want to be another Gail here.
Blah, blah, blah.
People are going to start we're going to get a reputation of not being able to keep a spouse. But yeah, serious, all jokes aside, I think that he is, for him, his wife does come first. And yes, the baby is important to him, but she's more important.
The baby is theoretical to David, but it is not to Shona, because Shona feels the baby inside of her. She can see it changing her body. She has a connection to this baby that she is growing inside of her. So it's not in theory, this baby is already alive,
Yeah, and he gets it, and he's seen, he saw Kylie pregnant with Lily for all these years, so
course.
It's not like it's not a person until it pops out.
They say, no, I know, but they say later on, there's a bit where the women are talking, or was it during the beginning of this, where they're, I can't remember when it happens, but there's a conversation that happens, and they say men don't really get it.
Yeah, I can't remember when that was. That might have been through the Platt dinner party later, maybe, I'm not sure.
And it's true, and I don't know whether that's upsetting to people.
Some men don't get it, I'm sure.
And some women don't get it either, because we've never had a baby. But I completely understand both. I'm sorry, but I don't think you can't say some men don't get it unless you're talking about trans men.
I'm not saying that. I'm just.
No, Michael, sorry. Men do not get having a baby inside of them. You can't mentally get it.
No, I'm not saying
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but there were lots of men do get that it's not just a theoretical entity until it's delivered.
I'm not saying that. And I know it's really tough to hear as well, because it feels like you're trying to put a lesser status onto fathers, but that's not true. It's just a biological fact.
I mean, it all makes for good drama here, doesn't it? If they both agreed the same thing, then where would be the fun?
Well, this is why it's hard. This is why gender relations and sex and gender are so fraught with... we have different experiences of life.
The one thing that I would say is possibly slightly out of character for David here.
What is it?
He found out that Gail was considering a termination for him.
Yeah.
Because they looked in Granny Ivy's diary, found out that...
Maybe she called it a diary.
Diary.
My diary, I'm Ivy, it's my divey.
and he went absolutely off the wall at that, and that was the reason why he ruined Christmas 2006. That's why he pushed
Gail down the stairs.
Yeah, all of that good stuff. No, it wasn't. That was to do with Tina. Although that was also abortion related, wasn't it? Because Gail took Tina to abort his child. And then he pushed her down the stairs. So that's two really personal experiences with abortion for David. Yeah. And yet he's now here, shoes on the other foot, thinking, well,
maybe it is good.
Maybe I need to consider that. So I would have maybe preferred it and thought it'd be more in character if he had originally been dead against it, but then we got to saw a bit more of his thought process, because it doesn't sit right with me that that's his first and only option.
I think there's going to be more, and he's going to work through this. And if he doesn't, it's a massively missed opportunity. I don't put it against them that they didn't explore every possible angle of this story in an episode, because they only found out halfway through that this was an option.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see a whole lot of it on Friday at all, did we?
If David really needs to have a heart-to-heart with somebody about these really difficult thoughts that he's got about it. And
well, maybe that's one of the things that Shona's going to be able to say to him, or that Audrey that will help him to see, oh yes, because they're clearly not going to have an abortion, are they?
Well, I mean,
it's obvious they're not going to have an abortion.
Everyone knows I'm a filthy feminist, but it's not his decision, so it doesn't make any difference.
But I think I would hope that Shona might say to him, you remember what happened to Tina, you remember what nearly happened to you really want that for our child? And he'd be like, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't then. Anyway, they're having this family meal later, aren't they? And David just doesn't, he's not feeling it whatsoever. Shona's just tra-la-la-ing her way through it, because as far as she's concerned, everything's going to be fine. Little bit of denial in there.
Do you think that she's manic here and completely deliberately drowning out any kind of negativity? Or do you think she genuinely is that positive? Because I don't think anyone would.
I don't think anybody could
she's
be.
Kidding herself?
I don't think she could be so naive as to think that it really is all fine. So I think she's telling herself, but she's very convincing.
One thing they haven't said as well is, what's the quality of life for the baby?
No, they haven't, have they? I mean, is it a case of chop off the lump and everything's going to be hunky-dory after that? Or could there still be...
What is causing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh.
More to discover, I'm sure. I mean, when some of us, when we were thinking, oh, there's something going to be wrong with this baby, they could have gone the route of, they're giving it a test and they found that it's going to have a particular condition when it's born, and some parents might choose to terminate then, and others wouldn't. And I was expecting it more to go down this route. Yeah, but this does feel like
with the older you get as a woman, there are more risks.
Yeah, this is true.
And people don't talk about it, but the same is true for men.
Yeah. When we were Shona, how old is Shona now? She must be 35 odd, I reckon.
She's played by a 65-year-old, as we all know. Famously, they aged them up.
This is I forgot what I was going to say there completely.
Well, yeah, we're just talking about risks of pregnancies and conditions that they could have. They said they checked for 11 herbs and spices, and I'm not
they
sure
still
which
haven't
one.
found the Colonel's secret recipe inside there. So if it had been like, baby's going to have Down syndrome, and then it's like, do we keep the baby and it's going to be a baby with Downs, or do we not? Whichever decision that the characters make, it's going to have massive long-term consequences for them. Either they make the decision and then possibly regret it forever, or they
either decision they
Down's
could
child.
No,
And then with this one though, it's like, it could well be, it's almost like a bit of an easy one, because it's like, well, if they decide to go through with it and then it'll work, it could well just be absolutely fine. Never mentioned again. And maybe that is for the best, because I don't want them to have a miserable
child,
sickly baby, because we've got enough of that with Frankie Bolton, thank you very much.
I know, we just had that.
Baby stories on Coronation Street are dull as dishwater at the best of times.
Look,
tragic baby stories, no thanks.
A real thing that happens to real people.
Oh, I know it is.
And it's sad, and don't want anyone to think we're being flippant.
No, as always.
This is about a story. We're literally talking about the logistics
of
producing a story about a child, a baby. Like, first of all, to find a baby that you could use for a story about anything like this is going to be really, really. I just don't know if it is even possible. That's the first thing. I don't know whether they could even do it. So that to me makes, rule that out.
Well, I mean, they've done a good job with Ryan's prosthetics, haven't they?
I wonder if
acid scarring.
Now, what was it? I was watching something. What did I watch? I watched a Korean show. Did I? Am I making this up? And they had a baby, and it was a movie. It must have been a horror movie, and the baby was a completely CG baby. They had a baby in it, and it was just completely...
No, that was Squid Game.
Was it Squid Game?
Squid Game Series 2.
I knew it was Korean, didn't I?
You did.
Thank you very much.
CG Baby Squid Game Season 2.
Okay, so they just had a CG... eventually they could do almost anything with that. How would people react? I think they'd hate it.
Yup.
But, just the practical factors of having a baby with some kind of physical disability, I think, to rule it out, I don't think it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I thought there was going to be more with that. No,
what else do you say to say? No, it's a really delicate thing to talk about. It doesn't mean that it's not an important story for a soap. And I do think that they would, once they have the technology, I do think that there's, they might try to tackle it. But I just...
Well, let's just wait for people to write into us and say, well, in Emmerdale they've done this and in EastEnders
in Emmerdale they had a robot baby.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was programmed wrong.
Anyway, there was a bit where David's trying to... You pointed this out to me because I was tapping away on my notes, weren't they? When he's there at the fridge getting the cheese and he's trying to get Shona to come over because he just desperately needs to talk to her about this and she's purposely not taking the hint. Yeah,
Shona's just revelling in everybody heaping... joy on her for this baby, and David can't join in because his terror and confusion and uncertainty about what they're actually going to do about this, and his fear about losing Shona as well as the baby. And she's just there going, yeah, baby girl, everyone celebrate, and he's like, come over a minute.
Yeah, and won't.
She won't engage with him at all.
No.
She wants to live in denial, and she knows that as soon as she talks to him, he's going to shatter her whole...
Yeah. And she ends the episode by telling him that she does the old "this is my body, my decision."
Oh, the old
woman that women like to pull out when they want to win an argument, that kind of word.
Yeah, that one.
But yeah, it's obviously a really, really tough decision, and this is real life, and there'll be 100% some people. Life. No, but people will have been watching this and been very much affected and triggered by this. We got something on our feedback section later in the podcast from somebody who's experienced something similar to this.
Yeah.
And as always, and it's usually Gemma that does the disclaimers, but I will also like to do one here that, we are talking about the show, we're talking about the drama.
I said it a minute
ago.
You don't often listen to what I say.
Say it again. But I've really, really got involved and hooked in this. This has got its hooks into me, and it's just a bit sad that we didn't get to see a whole lot of it from Friday's episode.
I'm just going to say though, this is the sort of story where I have to emotionally detach myself completely from trying to even engage on it in an emotional level, because the more you think about it, the more desperately sad and it makes you want to cry. I can't do it.
Well, you know what I'm like. I'm not emotionally attached to anything. Really I have no emotions.
But I'm just saying, I'm going to have to just be very detached about this and not try to engage in it emotionally. So if I sound flippant, it's basically...
defence mechanism.
Well, what would be the benefit of listening to a podcast where somebody just is crying about something sad? Because there's always something sad on Coronation Street.
I know.
We can't cry every episode. And I genuinely think that it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
that's the thing I keep thinking. I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's going to be a little Christmas miracle, isn't it? Like Tyrone walking.
Well, what did they say? She's not 20 weeks yet.
Yeah, so it's still going to be a little while until this...
When's the baby going to be born?
Pops out. Anyway, Friday we just get a few scenes with of Lauren.
I just got to say one thing as well, that there is a bit where they're talking about, the bit where they're talking at the salon, talking about, and Leanne's there, and they're saying about, she's talking about Ollie, and everyone kind of ignores her a little bit, because she's been a bit of a bummer, which I thought was I don't know if it, they meant it to be, everyone's just ignoring Leanne, but it's like she was having her own conversation about her sad, experience.
I had a child die 5 years ago.
But they're talking about it, and it's Maria and Audrey, and I was going to say Lorraine, Leanne, and then David's doing the hair, and this is when they're saying, "Oh, you don't understand. You're a man. You don't get it." Da 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 da. And they say, "Oh, about the tragedy." And Maria says, "Oh, you see these people, and they've got their trampolines and their kids, and you think, what makes them so special?" And the way they're talking about it is literally like they know that in Coronation Street, it is literally a 50-50 chance if you're pregnant that you will have a baby that's healthy. because it is. On Coronation Street, the last time we looked into it,
we've done the maths, we crunched the numbers.
So they know, it's like they know, because in real life it's obviously very, very small percentage of things that, you know, that people experience.
You know, in early pregnancy, there's an awful lot of miscarriages that often the mothers don't even know about.
That's true.
But once it gets, you know...
Well, look, we don't know enough about real life statistics to say anything.
I'm not a maternity
with authority,
expert.
But it's a lot rosier in real life. I just thought it was kind of meta that they were like going, oh yeah, the amount of horrible pregnancy storylines we've had on this show. Yeah. I don't know why anyone even tries to have a baby. Actually, most of them don't try.
Most of them don't try it. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Friday's episode is Lauren giving them Franca's clothes, which is lovely. And I'd partly forgotten that she was almost part of the family, because is it Shona or David? One of them mentions it, like she could have been one of us Platts via Max at some point, but nobody's even given Max a thought since he got carted off to wherever he is in. Is it Scotland he's in prison? I can't remember. Poor kid. Anyway, so that was nice. And the salon scene was David realising that he needs to support and listen to Shona a bit more. But it was nice to see Leanne there because, you know, we're not seeing in the Rovers, are we?
No. Toya wasn't there either.
She was, no, Toya certainly not
there. Toya could have gone, excuse me, Leanne.
Nice tragic baby storyline, let me tell you.
I've got a better one than that.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
I'm not going to go into it, listeners, but I did have a dream that we were invited to Jane Danson's house last night. And
lovely.
Yeah. I wish I could... Jane Danson moved into a new house, and for whatever reason, we were there, and we weren't necessarily the most welcome house guests. Which probably would happen in real life if we showed up at Jane Danson's
new house. Like, are you going to unpack something, or can you leave?
Anyway, Shona ends the episode declaring that she's going to go on a health mix because she's hoping to, I guess, kale smoothie her way through this
well, that
problem.
Doesn't work. Just our Sinead
about that.
Also,
yeah, exactly.
This is what Debbie was doing before she went on a tour of vineyards.
Oh, yes.
She was saying she could only have one drink a week or something. I think she's used her next 3 years' worth in the scenes I've seen her.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what's next for this particularly. It seems like there don't need to be lots of twists and turns, really. It just needs to be a case of they need to come to the decision that they have the operation. She goes and does it. And then it turns out okay.
Well, there will be scans. There will probably be a scan where they go, it looks the same. And then there will probably be a scan where they say, actually, it's got worse really quickly.
Oh, yes.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yes.
Like, we have to operate immediately.
We need to decide now or never.
We need a Christmas Day operation.
God,
she goes,
Bennett,
as long as you wear hats, Santa hats.
Or a 9th of December operation, possibly, for Shona.
Oh.
Yeah, lovely.
On the day of the wedding, of the baby shower.
Baby shower operation. Yes.
And the surgeon's like, I didn't...
Mark it in your diaries, everyone.
Surgeon's, I didn't bring a present. And she'll say, you're giving me the gift of life. And everyone goes like that.
Well, I hope they don't have horrible Mr. Thorne do the surgery, because who knows what
Take a photo. Go look at this.
On his Instagram,
horrible man.
Yeah.
Kick him out.
Anyway, that was kind of it, really, wasn't it? I think it's pretty clear what we thought about this story.
Enjoyed it,
didn't mind the experimental stuff, which is quite unlike me.
I dislike it when babies are sad and hurt. And I know that's controversial. That's what I mean about this story. It's like, what can you say? It's the most sad and tragic thing ever.
I wonder, is this going to be sad and tragic enough, or even slightly concerning enough for Gail to come back from France? I'm going to say no.
She'll go, c'est normal.
She's going to be saying, they'll deal with it.
Well, one way or the other, it's not my problem.
I hope we get to see a lot more Audrey, and we're not seeing loads of Audrey these days. It's tragic, and every appearance of Audrey is a bit of a gift to the show because she's always brilliant. And I think that, and I don't want to badmouth Rita at all, but most of the time that Rita comes in, she isn't particularly consequential to anything storyline, is it? She has some lovely scenes, like her having a cocktails with Kirk, but Audrey can still have a lot of agency. And
yes, she feels like
really
more part of the family.
Yeah,
because she's
got really
got a family.
Heartfelt moments. So I hope that we get to see plenty of that at least.
I just love the fact that she just lives in the annex and you never see her. She's like, a nocturnal.
I want to see inside Audrey's annex.
She's like a little, like, you know, like when you have a hamster and you're like, it's so boring, it just sleeps all day. And then at night it comes out.
Yeah. Do you think that, I wonder who else is going to find out? Like,
everyone.
Could Sarah?
At the shower when the baby.
Like, would there be any
operation.
narrative purpose in Shona discovering, or like, is David going to want
Shona discovering? Sarah.
Okay. Is David going to want to confide in her, because he ain't got any mates, has he, that he can talk to about it?
Nick.
I suppose he could.
Nick's
talk to
the guy
Nick.
He's going to talk to, because remember Nick went through everything with Toya talking about Rose.
Yes.
They're going, I know all about this.
They could make a link there, couldn't they?
They'll go, I know exactly what to say.
Gemma was squinting.
No, I wasn't. That was for you only.
Right, let's go to another controversial storyline, because God love it, Coronation Street likes something that's going to get us in trouble. Again, Will groomed.
Controversial opinion here, because I know there's going to be a lot of chat about this, where people could discuss, you know, the pros and cons, but I'm against this.
I'm against grooming children.
Yeah, I think it's really... I don't
Very
think
bad.
There's no way... There's never a good reason for it, I say.
But
never. Bad.
The drama can still be enjoyable surrounding it.
But there's no discussion to be had, is my point. Like, we're not going to... There's no... I know that they don't care. It's not... They don't make the show, so we could do a podcast about it. But this is 2 in a row where it's like, yep, this is terrible. This is one of the worst things I can imagine.
Yep.
Anyway, on
Monday... But if we
Monday,
say anything insensitive...
It's your fault for listening.
It's just for entertainment purposes only. And if you're not entertained, I can't help you, I'm afraid. Gemma, tell us what happened in the Driscoll story.
Is this our second story?
Yes, it is. You're always surprised by this. Always surprised. First story takes time, and then we run out of steam.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Right, Monday. Things are still tense between Ben and Will. Ben's the strict one, and Eva's not.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. Well, you know, Eva is not the real mum. She's the stepmom.
She's the stepmom, and Maggie.
Sorry, she's not the real mum. You know what I mean? Again, don't be offended.
You mean biological Bertha?
Yes. She's only been in the family for a couple of years, but she's trying to do. She doesn't want to do anything that's going to potentially.
This is a very tricky situation to navigate.
Yes, especially with Maggie, who's looking for any opportunity to cast Eva
She's
to one
undermining
side.
her continuously, and Maggie's just like, oh, Will just needs to get back into his athletics because he loves it so much. So Eva says, okay, well, let's get him to do a taster session, a PT session with James.
That'll put him off sport.
Yeah,
let's put him in a session with boring James.
James is not that boring,
isn't he?
No, I think not. Isn't he? Not new James.
I'm sorry, I haven't. No.
He hasn't got a personality yet, but he's not bored. Well,
he's had plenty of chance. He's been in the show for a while.
He likes sport. I'm sorry, but liking sport is not a personality.
I don't think they needed to bring back James, is what I'm saying at the moment.
Rude.
I think did I prefer the old James? I don't know.
I prefer the old James.
It felt like we knew the old James better than the new James. At least
the old James was a confirmed wet blanket, and we knew that.
Yes.
And this guy's like, I'm cool.
New James is kind of cool, but he's not.
I'm 25.
The most exciting thing that this new James has done is popped up and unexpectedly in bed with Carl.
Everyone's done that.
I'm not feeling James's presence is really required at the moment.
His guns to really get the
sorry, new James.
The idea of the arsenal, if you know what I mean.
I'm sorry, new James.
Will's texting Megan because James is trying to talk to him about his fitness goals. So he's there just ignoring James, and I would go mad if I was him.
Well, he kind of did. He's like,
I'm not doing it. If you want it, text me if you want a PT session, which is what I'm here for. I assume PT stands for the game that was released on the PlayStation 4. That's really scary horror game, and I was the only one brave enough to play it.
No, that's a too deep a cut. There's... Will's just not interested. He doesn't want a personal trainer. He wants Megan.
Yeah, he doesn't care about athletics.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
He likes ladies. He likes a woman, a grown woman.
He's a runner at county level, don't you know?
I know, but the county. This is what I was thinking. They say he's county level, county standard.
Yeah.
Which county?
Not Wethy County.
I don't know. I'm not being rude about Hull because I don't know anything about it. But is East Riding in Yorkshire, is that as good a high quality as Manchester? Is he not going to be in Lancashire as good as he was.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, what's the competition?
Manchester is a hotbed of talent when it comes to acting, isn't it? So I don't know whether it's the same for runners.
Surely.
All the great Manchester Run people go in Manchester, don't they? So I think he's got his work cut out for
Again,
him.
nothing about Hull, because I don't know. I literally did not know even where it was. Sorry, but I don't, because it's up north.
That's where my mum and dad's friends, Ralph and Sheila, come from.
It's the other side. I didn't know that.
It's land of the beautiful south.
2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Might as well be in a different country. Anyway, I don't know anything about Hull.
Might as well be here.
But I think that would say that Manchester, Lancashire, incredibly competitive, I would have thought, for athletics.
Yes.
It's a talent magnet, isn't it, surely? Manchester and that area, Liverpool. There must be a lot more competition there. I don't know, you guys tell me. Do you think he is secretly a bit scared?
Whenever I think of Hull, actually this isn't whenever I think of Hull, but it's just popped into my head now. There's that Blackadder quote when you know the Blackadder 4, and there's the episode where they're
that?
The army, First World War one,
okay.
And then they're in the army, and then there's somebody who they're suspecting as a German spy,
right?
And Blackadder's way of wheedling.
I've only seen it once because it's too depressing.
No, only the end of it is. Blackadder's way of wheedling out the spy is by talking about the great universities, and he goes Oxford, Cambridge, Hull, and the guy doesn't notice it. And later on in the episode, Blackadder talks to Melcher and said, I told him about the great universities, Oxford, Cambridge and Hull, and he didn't bat an eyelid. And Melcher's like, that's right, Oxford's a complete dump. and that's my other knowledge of Hull, apart from...
Surely that's where they probably went to Cambridge, didn't they?
Oh, I
can't remember which way around it is.
I might have even got the line wrong. I'm not exactly the king of punchlines.
One of them thinks it's more trendy and new than the other out of Oxford and Cambridge.
Yes.
One of them thinks it's the underdog.
But
and
they
I can't
both
remember
love Harry Potter shops. That's the one thing they have.
They both love punting around.
Yes. Anyway, so Will is not interested in getting James. He just wants to go back to Hull and keep on his grand whirlwind romance in his eyes with the lovely Megan.
Who's a skank.
Yes.
Yeah. So James brings the money back to Eva, and Eva's like, what the hell do you mean? Why am I getting a refund? And he says, Will is not interested at all. And then Ben's like, you apologise to James immediately. And Will says, no way, I'm not leaving Hull again. I'm not interested in a training session with a clapped out celebrity.
I love that James Bailey has gone from the character that everyone's like, well, James Bailey, to a clapped out celebrity.
And
but
it is really funny.
Isn't he?
No, but it's funny because original James is like, I did not buy him as any kind of athletic star whatsoever. Whereas this new one, I could believe if you told me he used to be a really big and he had an injury. It's completely flipped, isn't it?
I know.
But also, Ben, I don't think that Will would describe Ben as a clapped out celebrity, but he was also on a sort of level with James as far as being a professional sports person who now no longer does sporting.
Yeah, no.
Just talks about it forever. So
it's his thing.
Wednesday, Eva wondering where Will is because he's late to go to school from school.
From school, I think. I've written from school in my notes, and I can only assume that I never make mistakes.
And they're also having
notes,
a cocktail night, and the mixologist hasn't arrived, so she's got a right mare every day.
That story didn't really go anywhere, did it? When they were talking about the cocktail night and the mixologist, I kind of, for a little while in my head, was confusing it with the poker night, and I thought that there was going to be a poker/cocktail evening, that was going to be a grand party, and a just highlight with the second half of Wednesday's episode. But no, they just decided to...
Like Kris Jenner's birthday party.
Yeah, and it turned into be a massive flop, didn't it? Because only just Kirk and Rita turned up for it.
Like Kris Jenner's birthday party.
I don't know what that reference is.
I don't even know if it is Kris Jenner, one of them. Anyway, so...
They didn't bring back Jim Fizz, did they? Who was the cad that lured Kathy Matthews away from lovely Brian.
And they also didn't have a return of the Uber Duber, which I thought at least would get a mention from Gemma.
I know, that should be in the Rovers recipe book.
That really should be a reference, because they went on about Gail's Olives for years. Yeah. And also the Platt chat that
we are the only ones that keep the legacy of the Uber Duber alive.
Oh, I wonder how to make it.
Henry. Hashtag bring him back
Hashtag
again.
Bring back Henry. We haven't said that recently. I would love to see what Maggie would make of him.
Yes.
100%. Right. So Will's buggered off to Leeds. He's having an athletics meeting with his old club.
Well, this is what he says he's done.
And he says, my coach said it'd be good for him. And Ben's not happy about this, but there's nothing he can do because he's in Leeds, which is presumably miles away. I don't know where that is either. in comparison to Manchester.
Well, Leeds, land of Emmerdale, crossover.
If anyone's mad at me, I don't know where these places are, you tell me where Fareham is. It's exactly the same. So, Rita, I don't know where Fareham is either. Right, Rita's with Kirk. It's over there somewhere. Rita's with Kirk, trying cocktails. And Rita's not impressed. She wants a vodka and tonic. But on the whole, yeah, it all goes pretty badly. And this is great news for Maggie, obviously. She then decides to tell the story of meeting Neil Diamond.
That was a nice little moment, wasn't it? I loved Eva in the background just kind of narrating it as Maggie's saying it, because as this story that she's told again and again and again. That was a funny little moment. And yeah, then Maggie leads a rousing chorus of Sweet Caroline, doesn't she? Right. Which is the British football fans' favourite. I don't know it. I know that bit.
I know the
chorus.
beginning of it.
No, this is and
I only know the. Yeah.
I could not sing along to Sweet Caroline whatsoever, and I feel like I'm the only person in the UK that couldn't. But I don't know whether I'd want to. But even if I did, I wouldn't know the verse of that. I've got no idea, and it only seconds before the chorus kicks in that you realise, it's Sweet Caroline.
I didn't know.
But yeah, I think I think I've been caught off guard by that enough in the past. So I said, I think this is Sweet Caroline. You're like, no, it's not. I was like,
it doesn't sound like it possibly is. Me.
But then it was. But that was quite fun.
What a story that was.
Yeah, that was not a very interesting podcast story, but that's what happened in the show.
Let's not pretend we know things that we don't know. I'm fed up with everyone pretending they know everything all the time and people making fun of you for not knowing. I
like the little extras that were in the booth in the Rovers during this scene going, we get to sing along. We're part of this.
I get to sing in the Rovers. What a dream.
Was Glenda there? She was, wasn't she? What was...
Glenda
there was one reaction that you pointed out.
When Maggie starts singing, Glenda's like, oh.
I thought that
amazing.
I think that she had a bit of a funny reaction to the Neil Diamond story as well.
She's great. Honestly, her like little expressions have been really great recently because she's not the main queen bee anymore now that she's not the manager. She gets to react to things, and I think sometimes that's better because I also think that's a big strength of Maureen Lipman as Evelyn is the reactions. You don't need a script sometimes to really steal a scene.
No.
And I think that, not that I think Jodie Prentice stole the scene from Sweet Caroline, but her reactions have been fantastic. Just getting to know this new family, like, I don't really know what I think of these people.
Yes.
So.
Still too many people working in the Rovers, though. I will say that. Lauren, what do you think of Lauren's new hair?
Is it just that it's down now?
Yeah, she's down, but kind of pushed back with an Alice band.
It's not an Alice band, it's a fabric.
Oh, okay.
Fabric. And I don't know what you call it.
And that's still got the massive hoop earrings going on there, hasn't she?
I always get cringe when I see hoop earrings because I just think you're going to catch it on a doorknob or something.
She's not that short.
I'd manage it.
Maybe if it was Debbie. I've not seen her wearing hoops. She usually has the pendulums, doesn't she?
She's like
probably for that very reason.
Don't worry, they're quick release. I've had that problem before. Anyway, Will and Megan haven't gone to Leeds unless there's a cinema there, because that's what they've done. And they watched a movie, and I don't know what they saw.
Have they not got him on Trollop Tracker on their phone? Because Is that a thing? Do most parents have their child on geolocate? It's called
Life something.
I don't know.
Life 20, 30, 60.
I mean, clearly they didn't have him on that, otherwise they would have known where he was last week. But I would have said that after that incident last week, I probably would have signed him up for it.
15-year-old is look. I can't say anything about it. I can only say what I think I would do.
But then you do have your privacy, you know. How many 15-year-olds willingly would give up their location to their parents? Will obviously wouldn't. He'd just stick it on airplane mode,
oh man, I don't like talking about things I don't know anything about, which sounds like a lie to everybody.
If you're a parent...
you don't get privacy when you're 15, you don't get any with me. You're not getting on the computer.
It's sad though, isn't it? Because it's like when you look on Reddit about the was it really like that back in growing up in the 90s? Did you really go out and...
we didn't get into stuff like, I know clearly people did, but the internet, first of all, know what you wouldn't have. No, you're not getting on there without me saying exactly what you're doing because it's disgusting.
But yeah, we had so much
It's really
freedom and
damaging.
privacy. And we did, like in the summer holidays, go out of our house first thing in the morning, and then we didn't come back until late in the evening, and our parents had no idea where we were.
They didn't want to know.
During the day, and it didn't matter. And kids these days don't get that, and they almost, a lot of them don't even believe it, that we had so much freedom. But
I went all over the place.
we thought that our parents' generation, in the 70s, late 60s, so they had even more. It's just so locked down. But yeah, if we had children, would we have that on them?
I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't.
But you track me, don't you? But you don't let me track.
Why do I track you?
Don't trust me.
Why do I track you?
So you know when I'm coming home from school?
Yeah.
So you know when to put the kettle on for me and make
dinner? Yeah. If you don't want me to, I'll turn it off.
No, I don't mind.
Well, why are you making out like it's some kind of sinister...
No, I don't care at all. I've got nothing to hide.
You don't track me because I get up to stuff you don't need to know about.
Yeah, you're going out with your fancy man during the day, aren't you? I've seen Coronation Street. I know what happens to women. Anyway, so they don't know where Will is. He's at the cinema somewhere. Or outside of it.
No, it doesn't matter where he is. It's who he's with.
Who he's with.
Yeah, it wouldn't tell you, would it?
No. He's with Megan.
Yeah. Tramp.
It's like they're not yet characterising her directly as a child catcher kind of woman, are they? They're almost playing it up as a bit of a real romance here. Because she seems to have genuine feelings for him, very misguided feelings.
No, let's just make it clear that no matter what we say or how clumsily we might word things in the future, that this is terrible. There's nothing laudable, sweet, or romantic or anything.
No, there's not.
No, I'm just saying this as a disclaimer. I'm not going to keep going every single time we say Megan. We're not going to go, Megan looks sad, but clearly she's not sad because she's an evil predator. Like, I'm not going to qualify everything I say from now on. We all know what she is.
She is not being characterised as somebody who is preying, taking advantage. She seriously feels like she's brainwashed in a way, and
she might believe.
Does she believe that what she's doing is normal and fine, and that she is in love with this kid?
Many people will say this, who are of this persuasion. The thing
is, she must know it's wrong. I mean, if she
knows it's illegal, she's telling them to not.
Well, it's her job. She's a coach, isn't she? She doesn't work at a school, but regardless, the amount of safeguarding training that there would be these days, if you're a coach working with children, you're going to be barraged with.
Is this a good idea? No,
it's not a good idea.
Is this wrong? Yes.
And say it, see it, report them. So she must.
Just shoot them in the head.
She's in no delusions. If she was found out, this would be the end of her career. She would be in a heck of a lot of trouble here. She'd be in prison. So she is coming across to me as being really, really naive, because I kind of believe her that she thinks that there is something true and honest and pure and lovely about this relationship. Don't you think so? She's
probably romanticised it in her head like it's Romeo and Juliet. They were 15.
Yeah, just the other way around.
No, they were both 15, I think.
I thought it... Oh, no, you're right.
Romeo and Juliet is a story about a paedophile.
Okay. I thought that Romeo was supposed to be a bit older, but...
I don't care.
You could be right.
I literally don't care how old they were. But I think there are lots of reasons why you can't be with somebody. And there are lots of stories about, like, lots of romances are about that, like forbidden love and stuff. And so she's probably bought into thinking as a lie to herself. I don't know. This is what I don't like about it. I don't care about what you think about what goes on in someone's brain. It's like this. I literally don't care. I don't want to know. I'm not interested. It's nothing to do with me.
She's going to be thinking. Disgusting. Yeah, he's 15, but give it a few years.
Well, she just she probably just thinks I just have to wait till Christmas because he's going to be 16 at Christmas.
But there's still the whole she's his coach. I know, she's got some level of responsibility and what's the word? Looking after stewardship,
guardianship.
No, guardianship of him.
But if she quits her job, like technically speaking, she quits her job when he turns 16. It's not illegal anymore.
No.
I do think that if your whole argument is it's not illegal now, Something's gone wrong.
She's saying to him, "Oh, you're so mature. You're not like the other
Gross.
boys."
This is what they do. This is what they say.
But as I say, I don't. It's not coming across like she's saying that to try and win him over. It's coming across like she truly believes it.
This is what I said about like Theo and Jeff.
Yes.
How much of it is them conniving, and how much are they naturally just predators or manipulative? Like, are they just so messed up that they don't have any other way of relating to people? Like, how much of this is a true unconscious? Like, they haven't sat down with a post-it going, how can I do, what behaviours should I engage in to get the effect I want? It just comes completely naturally somehow to them because they're messed up in the head.
Yeah, she is messed up in the head.
And I'm sure I don't know, are they going to give us some reason why that we're supposed to feel bad?
I don't know.
I hope not, because I don't care.
No.
It's got to stop at some point. This is what I said before. The head vampire of Why Am I a Bad Person in Coronation Street. I get the compunction to give a villain a backstory that explains why they're where they are. But at the end of the day, I really don't care because it's got to stop somewhere. You can't just blame everybody.
Say she's got daddy issues and move on if you're going to do that.
Well, why was he bad? Because his dad was horrible. Well, granddad was a meanie. Oh yeah, but great granddad lived in the war and he was. I don't care at the end of the day. It's got to stop at some point. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I forgot what I was going to say. I've got another thought, but it's gone out of my head, so you carry on.
Well, you were talking...
Oh, no. We were saying, as we both kind of agreed when we were watching it, that some of it's a little odd, though, because some of the dialogue seems to be leaning into this is funny, because they'll say, like, I'll give you a good workout, and then it's like...
Yeah, like, how's his performance? I've got no complaints.
Yeah.
Like, that was so
I get it,
gross.
But that's kind of undermining the seriousness of the fact that she's taking advantage of this young child because they're making a joke of it.
What were we supposed to think in that scene? I don't get what we were supposed to think. What were we supposed to go, ha, ha, ha?
Was it trying to catch us out?
Because I just thought, this is really horrible. I don't think this is funny. This is like what Jimmy Savile used to do. Like, he used to literally rub it in everyone's faces, how gross and perverted he was. And everyone... just like went, ha 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 ha.
That's just Jimmy, yeah. I know what you mean. But equally, it also does... And
also it's because she's a woman, so nobody's picking up on it. But like, as women, I'm sure all of us have had to put up with some gross, disgusting man making inappropriate comments because he thought it was funny. And all you can do is go... Either you just blank it or you go, ha, ha, ha.
It's also slightly mixed messages with the whole Tim storyline, isn't it? Because he's saying, it's just banter, it's fine, don't worry about it, it's just a bit of fun. And then by putting dialogue in that makes it out to be just a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's true. I don't get it.
No.
The only thing I was going to say about Megan too, about her as a person, is they've cast a very diminutive, short, petite woman who is blonde, very pretty, very innocent looking, and she's much shorter than everybody else. She's not just shorter than Will, she's shorter than almost everybody else. In the scene I remember watching her, was she's standing in the Rovers, and she just looked smaller than everybody else. And I wonder why they've done that. Because Will is just bigger than her, so it kind of leans into what she's thinking, like, he's a man, he's a grown man. I'm just a little lady.
They could be mistaken for being the same age.
I don't think so.
It's in a darkened Ginnell.
You said that before, but I don't...
The story crosses over with Tim's for the final scene of the episode, doesn't it? Because he's there kind of contemplating life choices in the smoking area, and then he walks past them. Little does he know that there's a parallel story to his going on there right under his nose. And clearly he's going to... I wonder whether he's going to be one of the first to discover what's going on. Yep. And then he's going to be like, do I tell anyone or not? Is this okay? He may well be a bit of a confidant for Will, and there's no reason why Will even knows who he is at the moment, but it doesn't take long for two Corrie characters to need to have a reason to talk to each other. It could be that it goes there.
You know magnets, right? You have two magnets and they attract, and it's like straight together.
I do know that fact.
When you flip them around and they repel each other, that's how I feel about this story. Like, I want to avoid it completely. I just want to bounce away and never see it again. I'm not interested in anything.
It was
in
a
this story.
very interesting move to have this as the debut story.
I just find this so
for the
disgusting.
Driscoll family.
And unpleasant and dark and grim. And this is probably what people think about serial killers storylines, murder storylines. Just like, no, what do you find what's good about this? What's interesting about this? This is just disgusting, horrible. So many people have been abused as children as well by adults. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that at all, because we've had arguments.
Not saying they shouldn't do the story. Not
sorry,
they shouldn't
yeah,
do the
sorry.
abuse.
Just to be clear, I can empathise with people now who were complaining about the Pat Phelan storyline. Like, this is relentlessly bad news. There's nothing good about this at all.
I just think that they should have gone with something a little less grim and grisly for this.
It's just vile.
Bold new family's story. You're supposed to love and have warmth for the family that's in charge of the Rovers' return, I would say.
Maybe
and
they're
I
thinking,
do somewhat, but...
Maybe they're thinking back to the McDonald's who came in and everyone hated them, apparently, but I didn't watch it at the time. And then they were like, do you know what we'll do? Baby loss. Yeah. And then everyone liked them.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like...
I don't think people aren't liking the Driscolls. I just
think they don't need this. They don't need a PR boost.
No.
Anyway, so Friday, DD meets Ollie in the pub at lunchtime, and he's trying to think of ideas for the Rovers menu.
Bless him.
They're giving Ollie something
to do. At least with Will, I remember that he's part of the family. Ollie is like, oh yeah, there is another Driscoll, isn't there?
And I also love the way that he's like, I am a person with a personality. Like, he's just remembered since his family's arrived that he's got a personality.
It's like, it was all leading to this big
food.
reveal, this big secret of, hey, Ollie's been a Driscoll all along. But so far, I'm yet to see that that's borne fruit. Like, what? Well, so what that he's a Driscoll? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it has been the making of him a little bit, but I'm not that interested in him. But it's funny how into food he suddenly is. I know that he made that comment to Toya, about the truffle oil.
Oh, yes, he did, didn't he?
And that was like him going, by the way, my thing's going to be I like food.
Yeah, well,
I'd rather somebody was into food than the boring and terminally uninteresting story of I can't cook. Because I'm sick of that. It's boring as hell.
I know you.
So somebody who actually cares about food will be quite funny. But then interesting. But then I do think they're just going to rib him about it and make fun of him for liking food too much.
He doesn't seem like I don't think that Coronation Street would be any different were Ollie not to exist in the universe of Weatherfield at this present time. It is
really weird that they've come in with all these Driscolls, because think about the Baileys. It took them so long to get Dee Dee, and they didn't need her until they introduced her, and then we were like, oh, okay. If they had Ollie not in it this whole time, and they'd been, oh, Ollie's going to come, you're like, oh, I can't wait for Ollie. Like? And like, Will, oh, where's Will? I don't know. Is he in Hull or is he in Leeds?
But anyway, the crux of the matter of this is, Gemma, what did you think of Ollie's tasting menu?
We only got to see two of the things that was in it. One of them was fajita fries.
Yes.
And one of them was, what was it?
I've lost 5 spice chicken.
Oh, and Maggie's going, this is too spicy for me.
And Susie is like, that's 5 spice too many in my book.
Oh, dear.
Ease it off, Susie. Ease it off.
No, just stop leaning into stereotypes about English people not liking seasonings.
I like my chicken plain.
Well, what a weird menu. Fajita fries and 5 spice chicken. I guess there's no
They've got to put some kind of personal stamp on it. They always try to, though, don't they? But it generally always feels like it's the same.
Do you remember when they had that big deal about they were going to add a new dish to the Rovers menu, and it turned out to be Sally's Herbie Cobbler?
Yeah.
And
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
No.
Anyway, I think if Ollie actually did read the menu, because there is a menu that I found quite a while ago, actually, in the set of the Rovers.
On one of our visits.
It's actually a really nice menu.
There's just plenty there that nobody ever orders.
It's much better than anything he came up with.
Yeah.
Although I'd quite like to try fajita fries.
I would enjoy that.
They'd just be quite damp, though, wouldn't they?
Anyway, sorry. What's the main drama? So Will and Megan, they've had a so hot night last night, according to Will.
This reminds me of what happened with Courtney and Ardy, where it's like just
yes, I am getting vibes
it's
there.
Horrible.
Yeah.
You're just putting everyone off everything forever.
Megan's not being a very good secret groomer either, is she? Because
she's
there
always hanging off him somewhere.
The number of Ginnell scenes they've had so far where they think nobody's going to notice. She almost got caught out having a kiss with him outside George's, didn't she?
They're in the car together, and George like knocks on the door as they're about to kiss each other, and he's not interested. He's like, move the car because I need a hearse to come. Blah 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 blah. And Megan's like, oh, this is so risky. We should stop. I need to find someone my own age.
She
I'll always love you. This is her like. This is part of what a manipulation tactic is, to kind of like.
I don't think she was manipulating him. I think that she was genuinely thinking, maybe we should cool this.
No, I don't think so. I think she's kind of testing the waters to see, are you still able to take this risk with me?
You think?
Yeah. Are you still up for this?
Could have been.
Oh, maybe I'll always love you, but maybe we should stop seeing each other. No, Megan, no, I love you.
I don't know. I think
she's like Theo.
I don't know. But anyway, carry on.
Will's like, no, and then he gives it a grump because he feels like they've split up. And Ollie's like, oh, something bad happened in sports, and this girl is in Hull or something. There's a girl.
Ollie thinks that this girl who they found the love note from, who is someone in Hull, has dumped him.
Yeah. So
or something.
Ben then asks, Megan's like going home to Hull, and Ben catches up to her and is like, what's going on with Will? And Megan says, oh, he's just got really high standards for sports. And Ben's like, well, I was trying to find out what happened. The results aren't online yet. And she's like, oh, they're not posted. And she says, look, let me give you some money. And she won't take it. And then she says, I don't really know why you'd be sad if there's girl problems or anything like that. Anyway, I've got to go. And he goes, no, let you come to the pub and Ollie will cook you something. And she says she's in a rush, but she spends hours there. So Maggie finds Will in the back of the Rovers later, and he should be at school. And has
he been to school for more than like half a day?
Well, this is part, yeah. So she's like, look, you go back to Hull in a few years if you like, or maybe you'll even get a scholarship and stay here. And then she gets a dig in at Eva, saying, oh, it's a shame Ben's new squeeze was so intent on coming back here, but I want everyone to be happy, and including you and Ben. And she tells him that Driscoll's stare trouble in the face, and she tells him that sometimes you have to play mean and put yourself first and don't let anyone else win.
I thought that was a nice little...
Toxic grandchild
You
thought that was nice? She's basically saying, be a bastard.
No, I thought it was a nice character moment, I mean. It was an effectively done. Because I every time Maggie's there having a little speech, I'm just testing, thinking, oh, am I going to like this character?
This is why it's really hard to be a good person in the world, because... I tried to be nice to everybody, and I tried to be fair. Believe it or not, I don't care if you do. But I genuinely tried to be nice. Not I'm a nice person, because I'm not. But I tried to be nice to people. Then you get people like this who teach their children to be horrible.
Yeah, so I'm saying I enjoyed that this was just a sitting down dialogue scene where we get to find out a little bit more about what makes Maggie tick.
But this is kind of... isn't this not unsavoury and horrible to have... this woman basically say, stab everyone in the back and trample on your enemies?
Well, it does tie into what I was a little bit worried about the other week, where she was thinking that Ben should have punched Carl into next week. And it's adding more credence to the theory that Maggie's got a dark past.
Are we just projecting, like, Mrs. Doyle love onto this character?
It's really hard not to.
Because really, on the surface of it, she's not nice at all. She just likes a laugh, and she likes boozing, and she makes funny comments, but she's not nice. She's actually really horrible.
She was nice to Asher.
Yeah, why?
And
Isn't that interesting?
And when she came into the show, her first scene, it was like, "Hey, everybody, I'm the cool party landlady."
Well, everyone likes to have fun.
Yeah, it's still too early days to.
But she's a really weird character, actually, isn't she?
Yeah. Because
the way, like you said, the way the scene was played and the demeanour and like the scenario was so, it's a lovely cosy granny moment where she's telling him some wise, important information that will help steer his life. And so you don't actually listen to what she said. She went, if somebody's in your way, just stab him in the throat. And we're going, what a lovely granny. What great advice. We didn't actually listen. We just went, I know. I love Mrs. Doyle.
I think you're right.
How What does she have to do to get us to realise she's a horrible cow?
Just wait and see.
We'll
Just
find
wait
out.
and see again. There are rumours.
So Ben and Eve have kind of cornered Megan. Eva, you've written Eve. I just read it out because I'm stupid. They're nattering on to Megan about Will and the fact that he was caught boozing the other day, and he's 3 years underage. And this is the innuendo begins here, where they're saying things that Megan has a different meaning for.
Yeah, it was kind of like highlighting to her 3 years too young to drink means 1 year too young to
get on with, and infinite years.
Well,
what your position in his life.
She is uncomfortable during the dinner party that she's meant to stay for. At least she's got the decency to find it a bit cringy.
I hope she gets indigestion. So they're like, "Oh, thanks for everything you've done." And then Will and Maggie come in, and this is like the grim stuff about how's Will performing and all that kind of stuff. And Will's like, "No, I don't want a new coach. I don't want to change. I don't want to move. I don't want to be here. I want to go back to Hull." And so they convince Megan to stay for Ollie's tasting menu, and they all sit around with all these plates of mysterious foods, one of which looked like a giant tortilla. And Will says, "Yeah, it's all right." Everyone's kind of like, "Yeah, not really that bothered about it. Just make hot pot, Ollie. Stop trying to try too hard." I wonder if there will be a story where Ollie and kind of gets in it with Toya and Leanne, because he's going to be in competition with them for their businesses.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're showing that he's kind of interested in food does mean that...
But it's funny
because... They don't need anybody else at the Rovers to be the food person. That's Sean at the moment, isn't it?
But it's funny, though, because you've got the three sisters then, all actually in competition with one another with their restaurants.
Yeah.
Which is a totally new development, really, because Toya and Leanne didn't care about being in competition before because they hated each other.
Yeah.
Anyway...
Maybe they can have a nice food festival on the cobbles.
I thought you'd say food fight.
I'd say yes to that.
Well, they could do, but I don't expect they will, Michael.
They might do. They've had food fights on the cobbles before.
No, food festival.
Oh. So they need to open that street food
I know, they do.
thingy we were talking about the other week.
Ollie teases Will about this girlfriend, and he says, "No, I was actually dumped this morning." And Megan's like, "Oh, she probably only did it because of the practicalities." And Maggie's like, "Oh, you get back on the horse. There's going to be loads of people."
Yeah, she seems to be under the impression that all of the Weatherfield girls are going to fall to their knees in the wake of Will.
Yeah, because he's running, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he even says, "Look, it's never going to work out. Long distance relationships never do." So this painful meal is over soon enough, and Megan and Will go out into the ginnel, where she's like, "I need to talk to you. You're a man. You handled it so well." Oh, I just can't.
Oh yeah, that she said.
I love
most young boys would have just had a strop and crumbled, but yeah,
you stood up for yourself. You're a man. It's not just a childish crush. You do love me. We're gonna have to make this work. So Will goes back into the bar and says, "I'm going back to Hull for athletics. I don't want to leave you guys, but it's the only way I can. I need to. I can't be doing it here. I need to go to Hull. Maybe it's really nice and flat."
Maybe it is.
Eva's like, "No, you're not going to Hull." And Ben says, "Well, let's think about it. This could be the making of him. When I was his age, I was touring around the world being an amazing sports person." And Eva's like, "It's not the same though, is it? It's like he's not going to be in the same county, stay in one place."
I can't get behind the idea that my 15-year-old child, I'd be happy to say, "Okay, let's have them be raised in the next county along." It doesn't.
Sports families are built different, though.
They're a different breed, are they?
Especially someone like Ben, who knows the sacrifice. Like, you have such a short window to make anything of your career as an athletics personality, or whatever sports person.
I guess so.
You really have got 15, 20 years of a career. And you got to get into it. You can't wait until you're 21 to decide if you want to be, really good at sports.
You could be a washed-up celebrity, clapped-out celebrity like James Bailey.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in there while you can.
Right. So, Eva's like, "No, I don't think so." And Maggie's like, "No, he's not moving over my dead body." And Ben says, "Look, it's going to do him good to stand on his own 2 feet. He's mature enough to make this decision himself." But Maggie and Eva decide that he's not going anywhere.
Which is a nice little mother-in-law, daughter-in-law bonding moment for them, because they've only been at each other's throats so far, isn't it? But they can both agree on one thing, which is that Will needs to stay here in Weatherfield.
But then they go and talk to Megan.
Yeah.
And together, and they've come up with a solution that Megan is going to come to Weatherfield for a few days every week for some training sessions. So he doesn't have to leave. He can stay living in Weatherfield and she will come to him.
Hooray.
This is just bad. Like, I was like, oh yeah, good. Send him back to Hull. Megan
I was
and Hull
partly thinking
go
send him back
stay
to
there
Hull.
and you can have a horrible gross storyline in whatever soap is set in Hull. Which hopefully is not this one.
And that's basically it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that maybe Megan's sessions will be Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we don't have to watch them.
I very much doubt that.
So,
And it's 2 days a week for the moment, but you wonder whether she's going to get a hankering for staying over here a little bit longer.
She's going to get a flat somewhere, the dirty cow. Tim walks past Ollie and Will in the ginnel. Not Ollie. Megan and Will.
Yeah, sorry.
In the ginnel.
That's what you get for just reading my notes again, Gemma. It's my fault. Don't give me a look. I know it's my fault.
Megan tells Will that she's going to put him through his paces. What are we supposed to think? And Will's like, I feel a personal best coming on. Who wrote this? The people that do the Blackpool postcards?
Yeah.
No, sorry, that was really rude to the writer. I apologise. I don't know what. Clearly this was...
Thing is, it probably is the sort of thing that you would say if you're in this relationship.
Would you? I don't know.
I think you probably would.
Repulsive.
But it comes across still as being like, isn't this a funny Corrie line?
Do you know what
it's a bit...
Do you know what I really liked?
What?
When Will was missing.
I enjoyed
take
Will.
it back. Everything I said about that, I loved it when he wasn't around. Send him missing again.
Right, we just got to try and get on board with this story because I've got a feeling it's going to run for the next month.
What can I say about
so.
it? There's nothing you can say. And I feel like... Yeah, no, I don't like it.
Okay, well, from one grooming story to another then.
I know it's bad.
This is all of the Tim stuff and there's a bit of Kevin stuff. I'm going to race through this, and I've only put it here because it is somewhat linked to what we've just been talking about. But
hang on, I'm just going to say, I bet we're going to get people writing and going, this resonates with me because of this, that, and the other thing, and I totally get it, and I see why it's important, and I feel, anyone who's had this experience, obviously, I feel awful. Don't let my criticism of the storyline make you think anything about my... I think is it bad to hate this so much? Because I do.
What this is going to do is help us see that Sally is right and Tim is wrong.
Hooray!
In all matters, Tricia. And hopefully, some of the many teens that clearly watch Coronation Street will realise, hang on a minute, I think my PE teacher is grooming me. And
I don't know. Maybe it will help people to understand, but...
I don't think there's much understanding that's needed. Apart from the victims.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose. I don't. Anyway, look.
I'm
Tim,
not going to say if it helps
Tim,
one person.
Sally, Joni, Shoni, Brony, Boney. So...
You kept asking me, what's that girl's name again? I was like, Grony.
Literally, I was writing... Shoni for Joni and... No, Shanice for Joni and Joni for Shanice constantly during the notes here. And there's only a handful of them. But Joni, we find out, is coming home tomorrow. I'm going to say, what was the point of moving her away?
She was busy doing something else.
Have these kids done anything since? We've had a little bit of Metcalfe action, which was the Tricia story, but I'm not going to say that the household there has had really any consequences of Joni not living there, has it?
It felt like they went, oh no, the actress won't be available because she's doing so and so. We need to give a reason why she won't be there.
But they didn't.
But we don't notice because we don't care about
They didn't need a reason for it. They could have just not shown them
That's
in the same way
point.
that they've carried on not
but
showing them.
But there are so many other people where you've gone, where is XYZ? Why aren't they there?
Yeah.
And they don't bother with that.
But sometimes they just need a cliffhanger for cliffhanger's sake. And I get the cliffhanger of, oh no, Joni's being taken away by the social services. It's like, oh.
Well, is Joni gotten over biting people? Is she going to take a chunk out of Shanice now or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was the whole point of separating them, wasn't it?
Yeah, why has she come back now? Oh, just because the story's starting again. So that was
Maybe
weird.
Shanice gets to bite one chunk out of Joni. I'm gonna
say this is a contender for the Weatherfield Wayfarer Award in next year's Bobbins.
What's that one then?
That's the one about the silliest reasons for people that people are narratively given for not appearing on screen.
Yeah.
And there was no point for this, I say. But anyway, she's coming home, but Tim says, by by the way, there's something going on with Lou at the moment. She's got herself into trouble at the prison. We're going to find out more about it. Let's not tell Brody yet, or Shoni or Joni or whoever. Let's keep it to ourselves.
Keep a lot more to yourself.
Keep
this whole storyline to yourself.
I don't have huge thoughts about it, but Tim and Sally keeping it from Brody, good reason. Good.
The only good thing that happened in this was the conversation between Kit and Brody, where Kit went, I know you're mad about it, but think about it from their perspective. Do you not think that maybe they did the right thing for the wrong reason? And Brody went, you're right, Dad. And I'm thinking to myself, hang on a minute, why don't you just live with Kit?
Yeah, I know. Well, Kit doesn't want that, does he?
No, I know. Kit's like, I'll give you good advice. Now eat your samosa and go away. Which is excellent parenting as far as I'm concerned.
There's this poker game at Kevin's house, and this is what I put this in here, even though it's partly the Tyrone storyline. But I enjoyed that. You got Sally and Tim there. Billy, he's not had much to do recently. Ditto Michael. Ditto Adam. It's like, let's chuck these guys in together so they can get their annual appearances up a little bit.
You know, if I was Billy and Adam, I'd have said, can we just do this in January? Film it in January and then slot it when you like. We don't have to come in at all, yeah.
I enjoyed the fact that Michael was us during this, because he doesn't understand poker. And long-term listeners of the podcast will know that whenever a scene with poker comes up, Gemma and I are just like, yeah, I don't know, is this a good hand? Is this not a good hand? And Michael was there really, really trying, but bless him, he couldn't quite get the hands of it, the angle of it.
Poker for me is like, you teach me poker, and it's like Men in Black, my memory gets flashed, and once I've stopped playing it, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But anyway, the main crux of it is that Kevin decides that he's going to stake his car because his life is so meaningless at the moment. He just has to get a kick from somewhere, and he decides to put his car up. And Tim folds there, but Sally is still in. And I did enjoy this, and I kind of wish that she'd gone through with it. But Sally's poker face is saying, I bet Tim's car. was a great little moment. Adam's out. Kevin smiles and reveals he's got a full house, but Sally's got...
a fuller house.
Something even better than that, apparently. But she refuses Kevin's car because she's lovely. And then she gets worried about Kevin's state of mind, which she talks to Tim about when they get home.
Presumably the reason why they do poker is because everybody understands it somehow, but it's also copyright free.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to be playing Monopoly.
No.
Because it's...
Coronation Street Monopoly. They should get that one out. Has anyone else got that? Anyway, Kevin goes home to a sad, dreary house at the end of the day and just sits looking miserable and moody. But no change there then. Anyway, Friday... almost by coincidence, as if the grooming fairy had waved her magic wand over Weatherfield, first over the Rovers' return and now across the road at number 4, Tim is checking out Tricia's Instagram. I bet
it's like when you get crisp dust, where it goes everywhere and it's all like scratchy. And you're like, what's this down my top?
So he's stalking this woman that Sally doesn't want anything to do with it because she's telling him that she was a massive groomer, and he's like, no, it's just a laugh when we were 14. Everyone thought I was really cool. Why is he looking at? Is he feeling unsatisfied in his relationship with Sally? Because he's got no real reason to, apart from the fact that she can be a bit naggy from time to time, like when she was wanting him to do the hoovering and he still hadn't done it. What's his obsession there?
I don't know. Is he starting to struggle with his memories, and he's looking at the pictures to sort of go, what did happen?
I don't think he is, because I just honestly don't believe he thinks it's anything other than just a fun time that we had. It really came across to me as like, I kind of fancy another go on her, but I don't...
Oh my God, why'd you say it like that?
But it doesn't feel like that fits with the Tim-Sally relationship dynamic. He's not the sort that I would say at the moment is looking out for an affair.
Maybe he's like the president of France. Say no more.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, when he was younger, she didn't look like that, did she? She didn't look like, she was in the... Let's just use... I'm just going to be like bold with it. She was in the prime of her life. She was a sexy 20-year-old woman, right? She's not a sexy 20-year-old woman now. It clearly wasn't just physical attraction. There's something a deep connection that he feels. But you can be deeply connected to somebody who abused you, and you can be deeply connected to somebody who hurt you and not really realise that magnetic connection is really, really harmful and bad for you.
And you can, people can and do look at other people when they're in a very happy relationship.
Do they?
Without
What's this about?
Without actually wanting to go off with them, just to get you kicks or what have you. And maybe it's just a little bit of this.
What?
You know how you're always looking at pictures of Kit.
You know I don't. I've got a picture of a blimp on my phone at the moment.
You do. But people do. And maybe it's just that. But I don't know. It feels like he's wanting there to... It wouldn't surprise me if next week he's sliding into her DMs.
I think you can interpret this in lots of different ways, and we won't really know what he was thinking because it looks like he's perving.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case yet.
I mean, she doesn't have sexy pictures on her send PX, does she? But she's still a very handsome woman, as Fred Elliott would say.
She likes to take photos of herself and put them on the internet.
Yes, including one of them in the Rovers return. She knows how to take a picture, does Tricia. She's got a photo face there, hasn't she?
Yeah.
A very come hither face, which is appropriate for her grooming past. Anyway, what do we find out? Sally sees these pictures on the phone later, doesn't she? And still is insisting that she's a predator. And Tim's like, what a load of baloney. No, she's not. And then when Brodie comes in, he is mad because Kit has told him about Lou being up in court today after fighting with an inmate. So he's mad at Tim and Sally for keeping that from him. I was wondering whether they were going to use this as an opportunity to kick the can a little bit further along for Lou, because there's really still a chance that in not too long in the future she could come back onto the show. And I know this is exactly what I want to happen, but it feels like that's not going to happen. They could have done something like, well, Lou's murdered somebody, so she ain't coming out for 20 years now.
What's that? She's got the Weatherfield Good Samaritan Award for helping somebody in prison to not fall over a step.
But yeah,
her sentence has been reduced.
That's not... She's not coming back, is she? Oh, I'd really love Lou to come back. I really, really want.
Well, let's just say what happens. She gets 3 more months.
Yeah, 3 more months in prison. And
but maybe
he's
a
mad,
woman
but then
was
he
really
understands.
annoying.
Exactly.
Maybe
Joni,
she could have got 6 months, but they're like this. Yeah, Brenda's annoying.
Joni comes back in the middle of the argument. The social woman's sticking her nose in. Social worker, saying, "What were you arguing about?"
She's the most suspicious social worker there's ever been.
I know.
She spends the whole time looking at him like she's watched Coronation Street.
She loiters around, just really unconvinced by Sally's show of being a happy family, and then she heads off and is like, "Oh well, screw them."
Sally was totally like being so suspicious. She's "No, we never argue ever, ever, ever. We love each other. We're a big happy family. You don't need to stay here." What if you? Have you got a basement with somebody tied up in or something?
Yeah. I don't really like them all being there with Sally and Tim at the moment. They don't need a foster family, is what I'm feeling at the moment. But I don't think that we're going to be able to shake them.
No, I think that's it now.
I'm just really adverse to other children coming unnecessarily onto the street. Unless they're absolutely amazing and they're in with a massive story straight away.
No, and even then.
A lovely little Molly who's playing... the little one, Shanice. She's great, but
they're getting in people.
We get so little people. Of Sally and Tim together. But what I love about Sally and Tim is just when it's the two of them together and they're having their tea around that little table.
Randy with these children around.
and I can't see how this is going to, as a viewer, improve the dynamic of the Metcalfe household.
You're completely right.
I don't know. Anyway, like you said earlier, Kit gets chatting to Brodie and gets him to see that Sally and Tim only had his best interests in mind, and Brodie goes home and says, "Oh, sorry for kicking off earlier, Sally and Tim. I understand you only had my best interests in mind." Sally talks to Tim about Tricia again, and he's saying, "No, I wasn't groomed." And that was kind of it there, wasn't it? Really? Not the most inspiring of stories, and it just made me miss Lou a bit.
I'm sure this is really great for some people who love it.
Yeah, but I told you at the beginning of this that we talk a lot about the early storylines and then we flag, and this is me flagging already.
This is like, there's like, is it Sweden? They love licorice. They love black licorice there. The whole country.
Monsters.
They love it.
Black licorice is the devil's sweet.
Yeah, we know that they're wrong. Right, but we can tolerate them as long as they stay in Sweden with it.
Red licorice, on the other hand,
is nectar of the gods.
Yes.
We all know it's true. That's why licorice, all sorts are like the worst thing.
All sorts
should be all burned.
Yeah. So I guess somebody must like them.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk the Fizz story. Fizz, Tyrone, Kevin. This was not a gripping on the edge of your seat story.
This is such a tough week. This is such a tough week, right? Because
it started up the Shona and David story.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it, you had an opinion about it. And the Fizz stuff, for example, I love Fizz and Tyrone. It just kind of plodded along to me.
But this is a tough week because you've got a story that is actually going to really upset some people and be triggering and hard to watch with Shona and David. Then you've got grooming storyline, which is just I can't. And everything else was just like, oh, I don't know why.
This story had a few nice moments, like when Tyrone comes to the factory to see Fizz, and I love those two as a couple. But I can't say I was hankering for any extra scenes of this story.
If I was Tyrone, I'd run Kevin over with my wheelchair. He's been such an objectionable little arsehole, isn't he? Yes. So Monday, bickering, girls, breakfast, Fizz, on edge. Tyrone comes and Fizz comes in and goes, oh, I didn't have enough time, so I walked all the way to Roy's, stood in a queue, paid probably 15-20 quid for some breakfast sandwiches because I didn't have time
to pour you a bowl of cereal,
to go to the closer shop and buy a simpler thing for less money.
Yeah.
I get that they were doing something here with it, convenience and money. When you are a carer, it's hard, but it
also
fell
just
on its
more
arse as far as
Fizz being run ragged, isn't it?
Yeah, but she
didn't need.
But this is like what happened with Sean being homeless. There are loads of reasons why somebody is homeless, but being too proud to say you don't have anywhere to live is not the main cause. With Fizz, being run ragged when you're caring for your partner who's suffered an incredible had an accident, like it's a really terrible accident, and is going to be out of work for months, and you're also looking after kids and working full time. She's making it worse by choosing the exact opposite of a solution for her problems.
Yeah,
like you can't sympathise with somebody who's gone, I'm so busy and poor that I walked further to... No. You can think of something better than this, can't you?
Maybe she was hoping for a bit of a freebie from Roy because she used to be his foster daughter.
Yeah, she's like, oh, Roy, I've come here because I'm so time poor and there's so much tragedies happen in my life.
Roy doesn't understand subtlety.
That will be £15.75, please.
Bless him.
She might as well just bought a cup of tea while she was there as well. Add another £10 on the top.
Talking of Roy's, was it this scene? Was it this week when... with Shona when she was talking about him playing with his toy trains. Yeah. And he's like, you don't play with them. I thought that was quite good. Right.
So Kevin was with Tyrone later, hearing all about Ruby and Hope being at each other's necks. And he's like, oh, it's fine. The kids will be kids, it'll blow over. Then they start talking about Carl and Abby, and Kevin says he cares about her still. At work, Fizz gets very stressed out because her sewing machine's broken. Michael brings her a cup of tea, and they have this really nice... Did
she break the sewing machine? I can't remember because she's too stressed out.
I think she doesn't help. Like, all week she's just making everything worse for herself. Michael has this really nice heart-to-heart with her, and I think it was a weird, I don't mean weird, but it was an interesting choice to have Michael be the one that Fizz spoke to about her troubles, because they don't really know each other that well.
Well, I mean, they work together, but we never see scenes of them, do we? So we have to infer that there is a bit of a relationship there.
But why was it Michael that she chose to unload her difficulties on? It felt like maybe somebody didn't come to work that day and they had to put...
Michael's a lovely listener.
He is really nice.
I'd unload my worries to him.
If Michael is in more scenes as a listening ear, that's fine. It's just that the first time they really had a scene.
Yeah.
So she's talking about how terrible it is and wishes that Tyrone would just bloody do something around the house, like he can fold clothes or something. And it's
tough, isn't it? Because Tyrone he's not necessarily feeling too down in the dumps about it, but he's just taking advantage of her, isn't he?
He's not doing it on purpose.
He's there with his PlayStation. I don't think I made a point of this last week in the podcast, or maybe it was this week that it happened, but the sound effects that Tyrone was playing on his PlayStation were the exact same sound effects that they used 20 years ago to represent David playing on his games, but maybe he's on a bit of a retro kick. I don't know.
Maybe there's only one game in Weatherfield. So she's like, look, it's all very nice him saying he's grateful, but he doesn't put food on the table. And he says, look, Michael says, just let it all out.
Talk to him about how you feel.
Tell him how you feel. So Abby is talking with Tyrone, and he's he's like, look, I am mad at you because what you did to Kevin. Like, I miss being your friend, but...
That was sweet.
I thought this was really mature.
Yeah, I did as well. I think, yeah.
She says, I really hate what happened. I hate I hurt him so bad.
They were mates. They were proper mates. And it's horrible when things like this get in between you and your mates. Well, I wouldn't understand it from personal opinion because I haven't got any. But
Tyrone says, I'll look after him, he'll calm down eventually. But so when Fizz comes round, Kirk's visiting and they've just got around to starting to do the stuff that Fizz needed to be done. And you can see from Tyrone's perspective, he's had something to do all day, but really it wasn't anything important. And Fizz is like, you could have folded the laundry. Like, I mean, Abby loves washing people's pants. Get her to do it when she comes around. So Fizz just doesn't want to hear any of Tyrone's excuses and she goes upstairs. And then on Wednesday, he hears about her temper tantrum at the factory the other day and he's surprised that she didn't tell him anything about this. And he's like, interesting. He goes to the factory with a box of tools to fix it, but somebody's already done it. And he says, like, I'm sorry, I found out about this. And she says, yeah, I took out my temper on it, to be honest, the machine. I feel really overwhelmed. There's too much to do. And I haven't done any of it very well. And he says, I'll change. I'll get back to work. I'll do paperwork. But you need to talk to me. And they say, no more secrets.
Yes.
No more secret laundry.
I thought it was nice. There's nothing particularly inspiring about this storyline, but that was a nice little character moment for a couple that I do have affection for.
So Friday, all of Tyrone's good intentions come up against the brick wall that is Kevin feeling sorry for himself.
Yeah, who he can't even be bothered to open up because I can't remember whether we've known this before, but Brody isn't working at the garage anymore, is he? Kevin's given him the heave-ho because he's just a bit useless. Yeah. So that was important for all of about 1 month's
no one
worth of
works
stories.
there now because Kevin's can't be bothered. Carl's been fired, Brody's been let go, and Tyrone's in a wheelchair.
Tyrone's been run over, yes.
So he's not bothering. He can't be... Like, I can't believe, like, he's not stressed about this because Kevin's supposed to be carrying the economic future of 2 families on his back now. I know that Abby's not with him anymore, but he's still got his own child. He's in bloody France or wherever, in a very expensive athletic retreat. Mm-hmm. And you've got Tyrone's family. He's on sick pay, but he also owns half the business. So it's all very well Kevin saying, you're getting paid, mate. I don't know what you're moaning about. It's like, okay, but if the profits for the year are down because you didn't go in, what do I get out of that then? So he basically gives him what to. And
what for? It's double.
Yeah, it is. So Kevin's like, look, I can't be bothered with this. I don't care. And Tyrone goes, you can't just have everyone's car in the garage and not give it back to them because you haven't been bothered to fix it. He's like, no, go away. Can't be bothered. I'm going to bed. So Tyrone's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sadly wheel around and knock things over until you turn up. So Kevin does eventually come in at 3:00, apparently. And he's like, Tyrone's saying, I can't repair cars in this state. And they argue. And Tyrone's like, you're not helping, you're not doing anything. I don't understand. Oh, look, maybe I'm stupid, but is there not anything you can do at sitting height with it in a car? Like,
I know there's probably plenty of wheelchair-bound mechanics out there, so where's my representation?
Tyrone's like, I can change your license plate, I can fix your wing mirror, I can do something with a tyre, exactly. I can do your headlights.
Exactly.
If you've got something stuck in the front of your car, I can fish it out.
Yeah.
I can look in your boot.
Yeah.
I can look at your exhaust. Anything on that level, covered. Mm-hmm. All Kevin really has to do
is the high stuff,
top stuff and the low stuff.
Yeah.
What's he moaning about, the lazy git?
Maybe that's what they'll agree to in the end. Just a little height-based distribution of jobs, I don't know.
I know it's not that simple. Kevin and Tyrone end up in the pub together at the end of the day, and Tyrone says, you need to let me know if there's something wrong. Then he gets a text from Fizz and he has to go back to his family. And this is another bit of Kevin going, oh yeah, go back to your family. Oh, leave me here alone.
Do you think what's going to get Kevin out of this? Like,
I know that he's like always the whole time.
I know he's always miserable, but he's got to become slightly less miserable. I don't want this to turn into now it's a depression storyline for Kevin. He needs to have...
He's not capable of being depressed because he can't feel happiness.
Is this going towards... Are we expecting him and Abby to get back together again at the end of this? Is this really what he's hankering after and what will be the happily ever after for him? Because I don't think that he should take her back. She's burned that bridge, hasn't she? And I think that would be an incredible show of weakness for him if he went crawling back for her. So...
Well, I think he's going to be miserable at Christmas.
I wonder whether they're going anywhere. And again, I don't think this would be a long-term thing. But Sally's... If Tim is pursuing Tricia... Could Sally end up spending more time with Kevin? Is anything going to happen there? And what we've seen from the poker scenes is, and the fact that Sally didn't take the car off of him, she does clearly care a whole lot for him. She always has. I think that I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to lead to more Sally and Kevin scenes. Would you enjoy that? They're good together, right? Everyone loves Sally and Kevin, and the fact that Tim's possibly straying emotionally with Tricia might give her the excuse.
Yes.
Yes, says Gemma. Or Debbie. Get Debbie in. She's not been in it this week. So it's tragic. Right. Back from the dead. We are nearly the end of this. There's a couple of other little stories this week. And old Becky made up one of them. All great stuff. Still loving Becky. Loving the chaos. Loving the villainy. Loving the drama. Loving Carla getting mightily peeved off by her. She just won't go away, will she? She's just obsessed. Last week it was when she turned up on Friday saying that Curtis's guys are after me, and Carla's like, "You're still here in the morning." She doesn't believe any of this, does she? She thinks that Becky's up to something, and Becky's like, "Don't worry, I've got no designs on Lisa, honestly." I definitely reckon I was getting tailed yesterday too, and Carla's like, I can't be dealing with this. I'm going off to work to have a grump at everybody there. Lisa tries to... Lisa is kind of half saying she won't fully commit to believing that Becky's version of events is a fabrication, will she?
No.
Which I guess makes sense.
But
it's just really infuriating.
She
doesn't want to take the risk of what could happen for Betsy.
I think she's being logical in I have to err on the side of caution here, because if I'm wrong, she could die.
Yeah. But then she goes back to Becky and is like, are you definitely telling the truth? And Becky's like, how very dare you? Of course I am.
Of course I would never lie.
Definitely.
Look at my history.
So Carla comes home later and says that I just cannot get over not believing Becky. Why would she take the risk of leading these goons back here, for one thing, when her daughter lives here? She is making this up, can't you see? And Becky's like... I know Becky's there listening in on the stairs to this, isn't she? And then she swans downstairs just as Carla and Lisa start arguing again about her. And she's like, I swear on Betsy's life I'm telling the truth. Again, she's not, is she?
No.
She's not telling the truth. And the fact that she's swearing on Betsy's life just shows how much she will do to try and get this family back. Which,
it's weird.
Again, I still insist that if I was her, I would probably want them back too. Every week I'm going to say that. But this is kind of showing that she's using her daughter to lie. But then you would. Then you would, wouldn't you?
I guess so.
You totally would. If you think that there's some cuckoo in your nest, you are going to do whatever it takes to get them back. But I get that she's a villain. I know.
I hate this. I think it's so childish. This, I swear on so-and-so's life. And you're supposed to go, wow.
I thought you'd say that. You never like it when people in fiction say that, do you?
It's so dumb. You can swear, it doesn't mean anything. What do you think is going to happen?
Would you swear on my life things?
I swear on your life that I really, I love Will. If nothing's going to happen.
You'll be struck down from heaven, Gemma.
No, you will be.
Anyway, Betsy finds Becky on a bench later, and Becky is just laying it on a sob story because what's happened is they've just had more arguments, haven't they? Because Carla's being horrible to her, and Becky's laying it on thick, this sob story about how cruel and vile Carla is, and she's like, I just want a life, why won't anyone believe me? It was great. I love Becky and all her manipulations.
Betsy's like,
I believe you, ma'am. Yeah. It was so fun. So then Betsy marches back into number 6 and says, Carla, how can you be so vile to my mum? This is the place where Becky's safe and she needs to stay here. And Carla's like, no, I'm not having any of this. Becky, we want you gone, mate. Sling your hook.
Sling your root.
Disappear from me. And Lisa, after a long pause, says, yes, I think this is for the best. And at last... Carla feels some kind of, you are on my side here then, aren't you? And it probably was very difficult for Lisa, but it needed to be said.
Because she's not just going up against Becky. She's saying this to her daughter, and Betsy has no reason not to believe Becky at all.
No, she's being
and
very
she
naive
genuinely
and
thinks that her mum is in mortal peril, and then Carla's being a cow.
Yeah.
But really, Carla doesn't believe this, so it's not like she's saying, I don't care if she dies.
No.
Because she doesn't believe it.
No. Anyway,
why has nobody done any research into Curtis's gang?
I know, there's still massive holes
Carla,
that should have been filled in by this point.
Wouldn't you go up to Kit and go, look, Kit, this Curtis gang thing, what's the deal with them? Are they really that bad? I mean, at this point, who's in charge? If I was the new leader of Curtis's gang, I'd be a bit mad. It's not Curtis's gang, he's dead.
There was one more scene of this at the end of the episode where Becky's on the phone to Costello and saying, yeah, the skank's just temporary.
Wow.
I love it.
Becky's calling Carla a skank.
I think it's so funny.
On national television.
And she's still saying, yeah, when we leave for Spain, my wife and my kid will be on the plane with me.
A lot of people are saying they're not sure if she was actually talking to Costello in this.
It could have been someone else, couldn't it? Yeah, it could have been one of the Warners or some other.
If this is a new character, if this is somebody different, that might be actually interesting because, there's definitely criticism here of this story going around in circles.
She's clearly in full-on villainy territory now, and she wasn't a few weeks ago. But, nobody can look at these scenes and say, oh, she's just being innocent. She's just
what do you think of her now, then,
Great villain.
No, she's better than a paedophile.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to feel like, oh, am I going to say the wrong thing and offend people here accidentally with wading in there and being blunt and stupid.
You like her.
I think that she is really, really fun to watch. I love the chaos she's causing. I still think that a lot of what she's doing makes sense, that she wants her children back and she would do anything to her child back and her wife, and she would do anything to get them back. I think it's great. I do. I love it. The more villainous, the better, quite frankly. And I know that she's going to get a comeuppance, so it's fine. Nothing, no worries. Speaking of villains, Gemma, Theo this week.
Oh, dear.
Ramping it up.
We haven't seen him for a while, have we?
No, for a week and a half or so. They've it's been apparently bliss at the corner shop flat.
Well, Friday is when George is super excited because he's got a big funeral tomorrow.
Is it a diplomat or something? I don't remember.
Local dignitary.
That's it.
And he's very super excited that they've chosen Shuttleworth for the final send-off for this very
take that
VIP.
Rest easy.
And so he's like, everyone's got to be perfect. Everyone's got to do this, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile,
we're not going to see any of this funeral, are we?
Well, we're going to sleep through it with Todd.
Yeah, exactly. All we're going to have is George on the other end saying, "You've
ruined everything." Right. So Todd, Gary and Theo basically finagle it so that Theo gets back on a job with this Pete guy that he slept with, and Todd's not happy about this. But there's really nothing to do about it because Theo can't get work anywhere else.
What happened to him doing that work for the factory? Has that happened now?
Well, he said something about, Carla threw me some work, but it's not good enough to keep us in. He spends all his time moping about going, oh, I enjoy working. I wish I could work. Get a job down buttering balms. Everyone else does.
Yeah.
What makes you so special?
Yeah.
So
Shona's probably going to be stopping working fairly soon, isn't she?
Yes, we're like,
get yourself in there, Theo.
I would go down and work there, but my hands are so strong, I'd just crush all the balms in my hands. If I tried to butter them, I would just spread it right through to the floor.
When he tried to break an egg into
smash it into pieces. And I couldn't help but eat them all to keep
sorry, Cocker, there might be a bit of shell in there.
I've got to keep my protein up, so I have to eat all the eggs. Anyway, so they go. George comes in, sits with them, and he's talking about this funeral. Todd, you need to make sure you're bright as a button tomorrow. Don't have too many drinks. So of course Theo's ears prick up, and he makes Todd stay for another drink. He gets him a double vodka tonic and him a single. When they get back, they're both completely drunk, but Todd's even more wasted than Theo is.
Yeah, Theo's not too bad.
And Theo's like, oh, you brought this on yourself, you're going to feel rotten tomorrow. Theo falls asleep on the sofa. Todd falls asleep on the sofa because he's so drunk. And Theo unplugs his phone, so he's not going to get his morning wake-up call.
So just to spell it out, I suppose, what's Theo hoping to happen here? So George is clearly going to get mad. Is Theo hoping that Todd's going to get sacked so that he can have him at home all to himself?
I don't think it's that. I think he's just spiteful because he's jealous that Todd has a job and he doesn't want Todd to feel like he's better than him.
Oh, okay. I
think he's like...
But he clearly knows this is going to cause some discontent between the two partner, or the partner and the junior partner at the Undertakers.
He doesn't care
I didn't know whether this was trying to distance Todd from his employer.
Yeah, maybe as well.
As that.
It's win-win for Theo.
Yeah, but would this be enough for George to let Todd go?
Well, in the show, yeah.
In the soap, anything, yeah.
You knew it was important to me.
Todd
calls, I can't believe you've let me down. This was the biggest funeral in Weatherfield since Archie Shuttleworth
Where was
died.
Christina this week?
My dad.
That's what I want to know. Okay, there we go. That was this week's Coronation Street. Big week. Event episode. I really want to do like a rundown. I want to do a top ranking of the event episodes this year. Because it's all right, this one. It's okay. I think that... It's hard. Who's the character of the week this week? Is it Shona or is it David? It's one of them, probably, isn't it? In comparison, you're not giving it to Megan or Will. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Shona this week. I'm siding with the mum and giving her my character of the week this week because I feel proper sorry for her. But it was nice. I love both of them. I can't decide, so I'm just going to plump for the one I feel a bit more sorry for.
I love Shona. She's my perfect princess, so I'll give it to her.
Yes, and she, I just loved her being smug at the pregnant mums.
I love that she's mean like me.
Yes, not like David though. I'm gonna give. Oh, this is a hard one this week to rank because I didn't think so much of Friday's episode, and even Monday's was relatively so-so.
Well, I thought that
Wednesday's was controversial.
I gave them a banging because they took a risk. I don't feel like it paid off, but I'd rather they tried than didn't. Mm-hmm. But on the whole, I thought I'm not loving the storylines. It's funny because some of my favourite characters are having stories that I hate. And then other characters are just having stories that I find boring.
Nothing in between.
It wasn't a great week.
I'm interested in the Tricia stuff just because I'm interested in it. I don't know where that's going.
Yeah, it's
and
good
I really
that
liked the actress that plays Tricia.
Yeah.
I love Tyrone and Fizz, but it was just a bit like dull. I'm loving the Becky stuff. I got no complaints there. Todd and Theo warming up. Yeah, I like that. I think this is just going to end up being another classic 3.5 to me. I'm going to give it 3.5 kids named Gail. Which was a great line from David when he was at the hospital saying he was walking past the maternity leave and he's like, somebody called their kid Gail. So 3.5 children called Gail is what I'm going to rate this. What about you? It feels like you're probably going to go...
I said 3 already.
Did you?
Yeah,
3
you
what?
weren't listening to me.
3 what?
3 houses that Kevin's lost in poker.
Houses?
Yeah, because he was going to do his house, wasn't he?
What's that? I thought it was just his car.
Well, cars, houses, some people live in their car. You're discriminating against people.
Fine. I have given you some other options here to vote for. But
don't like any of them.
You don't want to choose your tune and Nick Ozzy or step ladders that Gemma hasn't got. You go
how
ahead.
about no one... 3 times people can't spell quinoa.
Oh, yes.
Everyone.
We had a conversation about the fact that people do in fact know how to spell.
It's not that people don't know how to spell it, it's that no one knows how to say it.
Exactly.
Everyone saw it written down before we heard what it was, which is why everyone calls it quinoa.
Did you say your character of the week?
No. Yes, I did.
Went Shona. Both Shona. Well done. It was a Shona.
Shona-tastic.
Yes. We're done. Time to move on.